welcome back, one and all, for Dreamworks Dungeons & Dragons. I'm your Dungeon Master, August Schmid, and I'm so excited to have the members of the Peacekeepers with us. How are we feeling tonight, Peacekeepers?
On top of the world.
Top of the world? Alright.
Still shell shocked.
Beneath it.
Pretty good.
Beneath it.
Beneath it.
That was good.
Oh, man. Awesome. Yeah, Dreamworks Dungeons & Dragons. Crazy amalgamation of two amazing things that we all love. Well, I mean, in a bit of a brief recap, last we saw the Peacekeepers, you were being full-on Davy Crocketed throughout the Underdark by Dax, our resident drow, and to great success. Again, even the encounters you had, you were able to very quickly stay on the ball and take out the big bad guys before fights got bad. There were some quicker revelations. Again, you guys did all like communicate with each other, getting ready, of course, heading. You're trying to find Fen, of course, fake Shen, to fix Ben, or Baby Shen, as we know. On top of this, Dax has been having a lot of dreams and revelations about his god, Inti, this patron he has. And, of course, when you guys made it to Under Far, Far Away, you stopped at this old church, this full, like, amalgamative church of these different religions from around the world that have been gathered here. In meeting with this, like, high nun, or that kind of mother superior, you learned a lot about Inti being this god of light and sun, and also the strange, like, things about Black Sun, of how, like, this might be very correlative in a bad way of, like, hey, if Inti's this god of light and giving to people, and a Black Sun cult that's existed for a while but just gotten really big, it's very ill tidings that these are coinciding. Valka, of course, you are still preparing with Stoic. You've got this dragon now, Cloud Jumper, that you've been training, keeping through, and using Cloud Jumper, you were able to also get a pretty good track on some Aposoids last time.
Yeah.
Which,
and then I got jumped in a cave.
And then you got jumped.
So cool.
It was so cool, though. Tracking these Aposoids, again, they were a big problem in some of our first arcs, and it's really scary that they've disappeared. Right? This threat of this hive mind insectoid people.
And the implication is they are in the Underdark somewhere, right?
It's not even an implication. You know the cave that you got, Dax confirmed that it led straight to the Underdark. Mm-hmm. It's one of those like, oh no, they are also down here. But again, you hope maybe you're not going the same direction. The Underdark is this massive underskin of the world, and so it's very likely they're still somewhere out in the frozen waste under. Like the underwaste, I should say. As you guys are here in the Underdark, last we left off, you were in this sepulcher, this small little side room here in the Underdark Church. And what I would ask for the party is, you've been traveling a lot. You have managed to surprisingly keep a decent enough low profile. As a group, you guys did a really cool thing where, again, using the stealth checks, you're in Underway, and even with, like, a dragon and other, like, powerful friends and allies, you're keeping it pretty down low. You're not drawing attention. But I will let you know, some of the, like, kind of passive knowledge Dax would have and you guys would discuss, is you're about a day away from Underlondon, right? I mean, it's close. I mean, anyone who knows, like, the English Channel, like, I mean, to give the example, you're basically in what we would know as, like, France, Normandy kind of area, where it's not that far to Underlondon, but the problem is the Channel is an expansive stretch of, for lack of a better word, it's a giant waterfall. The English Channel is this gigantic stretch of sea, where in our world, it's a kind of like basically a very long river that people sail across. In this world, it's a giant hole that just kind of drains from the oceans, ever magically springing from the plains of water, filling these oceans, and draining down through the Underdark to make this massive waterfall, multiple miles wide, that usually you have to, like, hire someone to provide transport through, like using machines or animals, or, of course, just heading topside and sailing across. But again, the sailing is not easier. You're sailing this gigantic funnel of water that's going down. So if you're not careful, you get caught in a riptide that pulls you straight down.
We don't have Seahawk here because he doesn't understand currents.
Seahawk does not understand currents. There's no such thing as currents where he comes from, so you can't really blame him.
That makes sense.
When you live in a magical world where creatures create the currents, it's that odd idea of what do you mean these are standard.
That makes
so
sense.
the Grand Channel, this like big divide between Underlondon and Underway, is passable, but like the main routes would require probably hiring someone or some company to take you across, or having Dax find you a way back up top to then travel overland on a boat. And that's where I kind of want to open the session, because the Mother Superior has left you guys here just to like keep talking, like, you know, again, you're allowed to stay as long as you want. This is like that kind of reverent church of like, hey, if you need time, take it. We're not gonna like kick you out of a holy building.
Well,
But
cool.
for the party, it's what would be the vibe, or like how are you guys wanting to continue towards Underlondon?
Did we lose them?
Just video.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, just see if that helps a little bit.
No worries. And yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
Manurith is a big believer in following Dax's lead.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, Dax is the expert if you want to like rely on Dice for Dax's insights.
I think we got most of what we wanted to from here.
It's true.
Sorry, just looking back through my notes and trying to refresh myself.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't think we needed anything else from the church aside from information about the Black Sun and some stuff about NT and some of the other pods.
Mm-hmm.
So I think from here it's just to Underlondon to find Fen.
Yeah, you've got a lot of great info about Inti. Again, this god who, it sounds like maybe the gods went to wherever place they are on purpose, but didn't mean to.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, they can't get out, which leads into, again, some of Dax's suspicion and intuition of, and this place might be in the Underdark, or adjacent to, somewhere very close. If you guys want to start heading towards Underlondon, I think what you know, or the Mother Superior might even offer this. Well, to my understanding, we have a bit of a channel situation where if you head the direction of east, you'll eventually find different trains and parties of machines that can take you across. The fare might be steep, and of course, Velka has Cloud Jumper. She looks at you. Your rather dangerous creature with you might not be allowed unless you were to bargain your way to a higher private contractor. But in whatever adventure, may the gods go with you, and may I wish you good luck.
Could Dax tell me, like, if the rest of the party wanted to catch the ferry, would the distance be, like, flyable for me on Cloud Jumper, so, like, we wouldn't have to deal with trying to get a dragon in place on a ferry?
Yeah, I think, here's the thing, is, I think it's one of those things where Dax, you would have this knowledge, like, passively, like, it's not even a check of, yeah, like, a rider on a dragon could easily pass the channel. Again, you're not dealing with any weather condition at that point. Again, it's more ships that have to worry. But the real problem is getting out of the Underdark, even if Dax told you, like, where to go, like, hey, here's a spot out and spot in. It's how do you find the party once you're in London? And again, you would assume, rightfully so, London may not love dragons. And London's a very tightly populated island, for lack of a better word. And so it's that, like, ooh, yeah, having a dragon in London is going to be super hard. So you're dealing with a lot of checks then of, like, oh, how do I find the entrance to the Underdark without having Dax? Hiding Cloud Jumpers, so not to attract the Londoners or the British to your location. It's that, like, what the checks you would rather not have to do in, smuggling your dragon across the channel it adds up later.
Okay, so there's not like a place to land on the other side of the channel where.
Oh,
we could
plenty
just
of places
wait
to
for
land.
the party, though.
But you're then asking the party to come find you. It's a lot of cost things. There's no one answer of, if you want to have the party find you, it's okay, make some stealth checks while you safely land and have the party travel up through London to find you, or vice versa.
I think she meant, can she fly across the waterfall in the Underdark without ever leaving?
Oh.
That was what I was picturing.
That could be insane.
Insanely bad?
Well, let me put it this way. The channel of waterfalls is not... It's not one giant continuous bathtub-esque stopper, right? If it was, this world would have imploded long ago, quite literally. It's just a lot of just deep cracks in the mantle of the earth, or in the crust towards the mantle that just, like, have so many. It's not impossible if Valka wanted to fly it, but it's... Valka, do you feel you are proficient enough with Cloud Jumper to make that journey? Like, in theory, you could certainly try to use that turn of phrase, but also, how confident do you feel? Because if it goes wrong, there's no, like, soft check to come back from. You could very much just die doing that if you're not careful. Well, and again, you could die from a lot of things.
I mean, I was gonna be down for it, so unless this is the DM trying to give me the subtle flags of, like, don't.
Not at all. If it's
doable, I feel like it's something Valka would be down to try, unless, like, Dax or somebody cautioned her and was like, don't. Like, I'll take feedback. I'm not gonna just, like, fly off and leave you guys here, but it's not like, hey, if we as a party don't want to deal with negotiating with the fairy and everything, like, I'm totally down to try it.
I don't know if there's really a good way for us to tell which would be an easier way of keeping Cloud Jumper with us. So I think Minerith knows that Valka is kind of capable of doing whatever she sets her mind to at this point. So Minerith would be in full support of whatever you decide to do. And she would probably just be ready to give an augur point as needed.
To be fair, an augur
And
point...
Dax could also send Bart with you.
Oh, that could be helpful, because then you guys would at least know about it.
Excellent input.
And with Bart, Dax could see and talk with you and maybe give you real-time thoughts. So Dax has never been through the channel of waterfalls on a dragon, so...
That's fair.
I can honestly say I don't think anyone has. Like, this will be the first.
I get to be Amelia Earhart! Yes!
Hey, real quick input. Amelia Earhart did very much die on that mission. It was beautiful, and it was so cool. She very much did die.
Some things are worth dying for.
You got me there. Valka, strap on your aviators. Let's take you through the channel. Cool. What I would say is this. I don't think I can allow an augur point. That is something a little more like... I think some of the wording is you gotta, like, see them.
I see. So unless we could cast Scry on you, then...
But again, he's got Bart coming.
Bart will be with Valka, which allows Dax a way to see and hear and offer some real-time support.
So potentially could I offer an augur point if he is, like, narrating what's happening?
I don't know.
I think it's that, like, you don't have the connection to Bart, so, like, only he could really affect
It's tough when we're talking third party.
I'd be willing to roll a luck check to see if I would be allowed to.
Give me a luck check.
Would, like...
Give me a luck check. Let's see how proficient you are as an augur.
Which party is it that has psychic link?
That's a 9. Just a
9?
Not 9.
With your
not at all.
those things, would you have access to psychic link? Can you, like, take
I already just used it to get because I used the low level to get the protection from good and evil, I think.
Protection from good and evil,
and then
which is really gonna help.
And then the very next day, because it only takes a day for
Mhm.
first level, I took what's the third level? What were we talking about?
Non-detection.
Non-detection.
To which
Because I don't have
Right,
an
'cause you don't have
Enochian
your
amulet.
I was
Yeah.
actually going to say, because you don't have an Enochian amulet, have you reapplied that to yourself today?
Yes, I
Cool.
would.
Just make
I
sure.
was planning on doing that.
I'm always gonna assume. Always
Yeah.
make sure. Until either another Enochian amulet, which we send out the message, but again, other parties have to either meet or
Yeah.
have the chance to send it over. It's just always make sure it's that's a first and third. It's costly. Again, you think the entire reason Enoch made this is hey, this saves so many spells.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
also just
I mean,
talking
are
to
we
my dad.
still,
Yeah.
even after what happened, are we still getting a Gabriel card? Because, we can always ask him to just, grab one of the extras.
I'm
for
a
you.
little too ashamed to even talk to him right now.
That's fair, that's fair. I just figured, I was wondering lore-wise if we even still had that.
You could certainly reach out, but again, do you want to reach out?
Nope.
That's fair.
Here's what I'll say. If you're sending Bart, is there anything else people want to send along? I would probably say any spells that prep spells.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that come to mind are anything such as guidance or bardics or other small spells you could cast on Valka now. Or again, I will say for the party as a whole, you do still need to travel through the rest of Underway to get
cast
to
guidance on
one of
you.
the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll allow a guidance.
Thank you, man.
But yeah, for the party as a whole, it's the idea of if you want to still head over to the mechanics, because you might find someone cool enough to smuggle you and Cloud
That's
Jumper.
fair.
But so there is something to be said of do you want to go gather information before we also stock up Valka for a trip?
Could we buy some chains and put it on Cloud Jumper so then it looks like Cloud Jumper is subdued by you?
I don't know how much
You'd be
I
down for
/
that.
Cloud Jumper would like that
That's
plan.
fair.
That would probably be some pretty hefty animal.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I had some illusionary magic that I could cast on Cloud Jumper. I don't.
Yeah.
So.
I'm gonna be very honest. The dragon isn't gonna like it, and stuff's new enough with us at this point that Valka doesn't
That
want to
is
push
fair.
that.
Okay,
That's a
yeah.
lot to put him through right now.
I will say you have just gotten to the point where again some incredible rolls, where you guys mashed a lot of rolls together, just like Hiccup did.
Mm-hmm.
You're just now to the point of I don't have to ask animal handling checks just to ride Cloud Jumper. We've gotten to that point of you can ride him, and you took them out in combat. So there's a lot you've done the work on, but that's also Cloud Jumper is again stopped being a beast and started being an NPC companion. It's that like any companion. Hey, can we cover you in chains real quick to pass you off as a beast of burden? Yeah, I think most creatures have an objection.
Fair.
So,
in terms of trying to get Cloud Jumper to come with us, as part of my magical tinkering, I can create a 25 words of official-looking text. We could totally psychic paper this, and I could make an official-looking document saying that Cloud Jumper is
yeah.
official. I don't know.
Custom papers?
ESA.
That's amazing.
That's clever.
A full TSA document of this is our emergency service dragon. Yeah. I guess, Dax, what do you want the paper to say? Yeah, you guys, and anyone can chime in, but yeah, 25 words. What do you want this paper to look like?
Okay. Dax doesn't want to get into too much trouble with the toad, so he really wants to just put the toad's insignia on it. I can see that causing trouble for us later, and I don't super want that. I guess I would probably choose one of the. Remind me again. Do the Drow have noble houses in this Underdark? I know they're not quite.
Yeah. Right now, yeah, most of the Drow are. Let me put it this way: there were noble houses. There were higher positions. Right now, the Toad has gone. Yeah, Toad was, or maybe in another life or another world, just a crime boss. He is kind of the dude running the show. So, like, a drow house could be important. It could give some, like, clout. But it might be just that luck check of who you talk to and do they recognize that kind of insignia.
Okay. So I think I'm going to choose a more well-known rat folk merchant guild, and I'm going to write. So that'll be kind of an insignia that I'd want to put on this paper, and then I would put official guardian business.
Okay.
With the name of this merchant guild, saying the dragon, as well as all of the caretakers and handlers, are on official business by this, whatever the group is.
Yeah, like a name.
So it doesn't need 25 words. But...
Yeah, no, it really does. Yeah, you can get a lot in 25 words or less. Here's what I'll ask then, Dax. Will you give me, we're going to call it a history check, because passively you would know a lot of merchants, but I think it's important to understand which house you're going to fly the flag of, so to speak. So give me that history. I'll let you know you want to hit at least a DC 12.
Can I get the guidance to him instead then, since...
In this moment, I will totally allow guidance. This is a
Thank
party
you so much.
party synergy moment of Minaret's going to give guidance.
Is any good?
Guidance advantage.
Do you,
I get guidance. Does anyone have proficiency in history for
yeah,
that advantage?
do people have historical proficiencies?
I might.
Because I will say, even with the guidance, a 6 isn't great.
I have
proficiency.
Yeah.
I have history proficiency.
Valka does have history proficiency. I'll allow in this moment. Valka, just give me a history of your own. Just kind of that. It's a very easy DC 5. But that like idea of, okay, noble houses, Underdark, what's the vibe?
That's an 18.
8, yeah. So, Dax, go ahead and roll with advantage as Valka, it's enough, right? Again, kind of like how, hey, I'm not from this country, but I get enough of what's going on.
Gosh.
You still have the guidance.
I have guidance, right?
You still have the guidance.
I have to go.
You need a 4 on the D4.
Oh.
That's
no.
a 1.
What?
A DC
augury
10.
point. Use an augur point.
Advantages are been given. Augur
no.
points, you can't
You're
stack.
Right. Oh, crap. Dax,
on a 10.
I guess Dax did not do a lot of work with merchants and people.
I honestly, yeah, I think Dax is like, okay, House Cheddar, the rat folk House Cheddar, that's a huge merchant business. You could get away with that name.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys have the letter. You have the dragon next to you. If you guys are going to head off to find a shuttle, so to speak, go ahead. You can either give me a stealth check if you want to help your group pass a little more unseen, or an investigation check if you're trying to find the better, maybe less out of the or more out of the way merchants
We're
or other
doing
transports.
Stealth. I will do investigation.
Awesome. Yeah, make your roll, and when we go around, you're going to tell me what you get. Again, if you're giving one, it means you're not giving the other. It's this kind of co-op group check.
Okay, that's not terrible. It's a 14.
I got a nat 13 for a 19.
Nat 13, 19 for which skill, though?
Investigation.
Investigation.
What did I say? 14 for stealth?
14 for stealth. Disadvantage, right.
Oh, is that because of the armor?
16 investigation.
Yeah,
16.
armor
Okay,
doesn't
so we've got some pretty decent investigations. Let's go ahead and I can help roll this. I guess for the party, or for Gingy, would Gingy rather help with stealth or investigation? What do we think would be the better vibe right now?
She is right here. Right now.
Awesome. No worries.
a 6.
That is a 6. Okay. I will let you know right now. That's incredible.
So who rolled stealth? Was it only you?
Minarith and
Oh.
Gingy. They tried help with stealth, and
Did we roll really bad stealth?
a 14 and a 6.
That's not great. Game.
Versus a 16 and 19 for investigation. Dax and Valka, you guys are heading through. I will. No, Stoic does not have a stealth proficiency. Believe it or not, the 6'6", double wide Viking of a man can't hide.
He can still roll. We'll see how well.
You
he
know,
does.
he can still roll.
He still tries. Oh no.
I'm not
Did
going to
he
tell you
nat
what.
20
I'm
this?
not going to tell you what he rolled.
Are you gonna tell us later?
I'm not going to tell you what he rolled. I'm going to roll a kind of perception check throughout Underway.
We'll shoot.
Okay. As you head off through Underway, once again, Dax is leading you through the back alleyways. Truly, no pun intended, spider web of alleyways of the Underdark, especially here in Underway. Like, there's very few main roads. It's just this giant interlacing city of shops, houses, arenas, sewer pipes where fights happen, shady deals go on. Different illicit substances are bought and sold. Horrible trades and ill-gotten goods are given and taken. After some time, all of you know you're getting close because the ever-buzzing roar of rushing water has gotten so much stronger. And even in the dim lighting, in the cool, reflective colors of the crystals and bioluminescent algae and mushroom, you see the cascade of water, and you know you have found the channel of waterfalls. It is very much like a port here. You see there are a lot of docks, people each way, because you'll notice the natural erosion has made this truly horrifying pit into nothingness. This pit goes down for miles, possibly down to the mantle itself, as it would make sense because it is rather humid here, as if steam interlaced with the entire ecosystem of this area of the Underdark. As you move along the port, Valka and Dax, you spot a lot of big convoys, a lot of big crates, and I think it's easy enough. The side of these crates are marked with this very, mechanical looking T, and you see that the bottom of the T looks like a tongue. And it's easy enough to go, that must be the Toad, right? These are Toad brand. Because this man runs all the Underdark. He is a king of this entire underbelly of the world.
He's the kingpin.
He's the kingpin of, yes, right? Like, it's, yes.
Yes.
Well, because there's Underdark everywhere. And apparently he controls it all through his system.
That's terrifying.
So you're seeing, a lot of these crates that are moving in and out, a lot of big shipments. But I think, Dax knowing the way around here, and Valka just that you're used to looking for those people that are shadier, you spot maybe a good couple yards away a big enough, it looks like a giant metal pill bug. These strange looking machines, and notice that this merchant doesn't seem to have any official birth or markings, but this rather rough looking rat folk who's got big old scarred eye, who's moving a bunch of crates in and out, and it's easy enough you could go, hey, that could easily fit a group of 5 and a dragon. Do you guys want to head over and talk, or how do you want to try to approach this situation?
I think maybe that, if I go up with Dax for that, not everybody overwhelming him at once, and probably that, let Dax do the talking, but also make sure he's, not alone,
Okay, so...
I am the muscle with Dax, I guess.
Do you bring Cloud Jumper?
I guess if Dex has the document and everything, we could, right?
It might help instead of that here's a document saying we have a dragon.
And
Trust us.
having the dragon with us, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Valka, you want to kind of act as that muscle / 2D kind of idea. And yes, it's maybe letting Dax kind of lead the way, especially if you have the paper. I'll allow you guys to approach. Dax, Valka, as you stride forward, still moving, trying again, you're trying not to be seen. Minarith, Gingy, Stoic, I think you guys, again, you're staying back to keep an eye on it, but still, with those 14-6 stealth rolls out of the way. As you approach Dax, you see the rat folk immediately perks up, as do other merchants, because you two are striding forward with a dragon, and there is a wide berth being given now.
Yeah.
The rat folk kind of looks up. Ah, well, what can I do for you, fine folk? And you see he looks from Dax to Valka, and ever so often just, like, sizing up the dragon.
I'm going to quickly, kind of, as he's sizing up the dragon, just quickly... No, it's... Dragon is not for trade or for sale. We're on official guarding business. We're transporting Dragon into Underlondon to guard Merchant Guild. I'm going to quickly flash the paper at him and say this is an official document for it, but would you be able to provide passage for myself, the Dragon, and 4 other caretakers?
You see this rat folk. He'll take the paper. So I will let you know. Before you hand over the paper, Dax, will you give me a quick perception? I will allow advantage from Valka. Just quick perception.
How's your perception, buddy?
My perception is good. Okay, that is a 25 with advantage.
Oh,
Yes.
thank heaven.
Because without an advantage, that could have been a nat 1.
Oh, gosh.
Valka and Dax, you have enough frame of mind. As you are starting this conversation, the side of this pillbug, now that you can see, again, not adorned with any big symbols, but inside, this side hatch door opening very DeLorean-esque, right? This giant side panel that just kind of opens, swings upward with pistons. You notice there are crates inside that... Valka, you spot the symbol, and Dax, you know this dude shuttles for House Cheddar. And before you give the paper, you'll have enough frame of mind to realize if I give this man a paper that is legalized by House Cheddar, he's gonna know something's up or be highly suspicious and go, why wasn't I told? It's the idea of going to, like, an official UPS store and be like, I have a package from important people, and I'm going, obviously this is important. This is labeled with the United States seal of approval. Like, this is a federal document. Yeah, what are you shipping? So I will ask Dax if you want to give me just a quick sleight of hand. You notice the symbol, so it's a much easier to see. Just the idea of, like, throw any other house name on there, right? Like, let's not give him House Cheddar. Let's quickly get this document some other name. And that kind of, again, it's this magical thing anyway. So it's that, like, let's just whoop and change it before it gets bad.
Yep. So as I'm handing it over, I'm going to kind of pull it back slightly and just like unfold like a wrinkle out of it or something just to make it look a bit nicer. Let's get my sleight of hand. Is a sense 20.
Perfect. Yeah, it was only really a DC 13 at this point because you noticed. Yeah, you kind of hang back just a second, make it look official, and you watch House Cheddar changes into House Tail. And as you hand this over, you see this merchant. All right, is patient enough, takes the paper from you. I'm gonna make a check for him.
Oh, that was close.
That's a nat
It's
2.
not over yet.
Well,
Nat
on
2's
nat
good.
2, he says, all right, well, shame. Could have transported Dragon. I hear them meat and wings go for much these days. But, all right, that's fair trade. This is where he's going to begin the bartering. You see, he goes, right, yeah, I can get, what'd you say, yourself, 4 others, and you see he looks at Valka, and Dragon, let's see, Dragon's gonna count as a double-wide cargo with 5 passengers. Let's make it 10 gold a person plus 50 for the Dragon. And I'll say passively, you think that's about an evener deal. Like, without the paper, other stuff, he could have been charging a lot.
Mhm.
But you did a smart thing and got it in the nick of time to this might be a pretty even, but it's now the question of what kind of money you got.
I'm checking.
Also, my question.
I got 50.
Just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, quick question for the party. How much money do we have?
Yeah.
I do not have 10 gold to my
I
name.
have 54 gold.
We have 54 gold from Minor. Yeah, we cut back to in the alleyway. Okay, everyone, pockets. I've got 12 silver, a half a copper. No, that's not a copper. That's food. Yeah, like this full like quick pat down. Minor's got 54 gold. Tax doesn't have any. Valka, do you have any gold?
I have 35 gold, but I have also a slightly tangential question of, it sounded like Dax and I looking around, does this ratfolk have any other crew? Is he like alone on this vessel?
Just him.
So I'm like, could we offer that like discount for that like, hey, party of adventurers, like security services, because you're obviously transporting important cargo even without the dragon? Like, do you need a security team for the voyage, and can we get like a discounted rate for that?
Idea.
If you want to make a persuasion check and ask him this, you totally could.
I can try. I don't think I have great persuasion. I have a +3.
Oh my gosh.
I will give you the help action.
Thank you.
Hey guys,
What?
Stoic's footing the bill.
Did you just roll for how much gold Stoic has?
Stoic has 400 gold pieces, being the chief of the
Yeah,
village.
that's fair.
I had that realization. I'm like, right, I never rolled Stoic's purse. Would he have brought any?
Mhm.
And I did a quick like, okay, he got a 16. I'll roll like a d6 times it by 100 because a chief, that's a high. Yeah, he's got 400
nice.
gold pieces. Stoic will pay 100 gold to channel you all across.
Okay.
I will mark that down.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Compared to Mr.
Yeah, that's
Bullbags.
like way better than I thought he had. Cool. Let me mark that down for him. Okay. So he still has. Wow, he still has so much gold. Cool. You guys.
I'm gonna need to step out for a minute.
Oh, no worries. So
I hear them.
here's what it sounds like too. You now have passage with Cloudjumper on board. Valka, you won't have to try to fly the Channel of Waterfalls.
I was kind of looking forward to it, to be perfectly honest.
Right.
But I know realistically this is the better option.
It's if you had succeeded, it would have been the coolest claim to fame ever.
But I might not have succeeded, and it would have been a whole big
might
solo
not have
thing. We were
succeeded.
trying to do a session. I get it.
I will let you know
Yes.
now what Stoic rolled for stealth and what the overall perception of the city was.
Mm-hmm.
Stoic rolled a nat 2.
Oh.
And
What's
I
his
think
modifier?
it's
+0.
he has nothing to stealth.
So he rolled a 2.
My man is not dexterous at all. He is the strongest, sturdiest Viking to ever live, who's actually a great orator and can speak well and can do nothing to stealth.
But we didn't expect him to.
The
That is
scene
true.
I will provide
Mm-hmm.
is very a la the first movie of How to Train Your Dragon. As you're walking through, there comes a point where there are a lot of city guard. All of you would notice the heavy set rat folk, barbarians and guards that stand around checking for trouble. And so all of you are sneaking through. And Valka, well, as you are used to this, and Cloudjumper like scales a quick internal cave wall and climbs to the next street, and you do a full just like acrobatic tumbling tuck where you kind of leap, do a tumble, and pop out the other side of the street without being seen. Stoic thinks, I'm gonna try that. And as he tumbles, he boom lands on his back just like Hiccup did in the first movie, sitting there realizing he is too broad to tumble. But you guys, of course, pulled him away fast. But it was not fast enough for City Guard to notice you. As you guys are sitting here, you are gaining passage.
Don't be suspicious.
All of you, so Valk and Dex, you are over by this pill bug with the merchant,
Oh, no.
Minareth, Gingy, and all allow Stoic too. You guys are going to roll me perception checks.
Okay. I can't remember if I'm any good. I feel like I should be with my dad being the moon.
Well, yeah, Stoic gets a 25 perception.
Okay.
He notices things.
Well, dang. He's got danger sense.
Actually,
perception.
yeah, I'll give him advantage. Let's see if it crits.
Yes, I intended for that to happen.
I was gonna say danger sense is so gonna help right now.
14. Again. What is with the 14?
14 is
I
not
mean, it's not
bad.
a bad number.
I
It's
know,
above average.
but it makes me worry that all of
Gingy
my
with the
rolls are
17.
just
I'm
gonna
going to
be
describe to you, Gingy, what you see. So, Gingy, as you're sitting here, again, you guys are like over by a giant stack of crates that are moving in and out, this kind of industrial harbor port thing. You're sitting around, Gingy, you get the weird, like, the icing on the back of your neck stands on end, which is in of itself horrifying. Gingy, you turn, and down an alleyway, you see a large group of rat folk with a rather scary looking grunge, this frog person in the middle. And as you're sitting there, you realize Stoic stops and turns to on his 25, and Gingy, you watch as the rat folk are talking, look over, spot the three of you. One of them points, and you watch the grung, this frog, its eyes narrow, these large bulbous that stick out of the top of his head protruding. The eyes narrow so the eyelids close upwards, almost like he's blinking. Slowly, his body seems to crack and bend downwards. Boing! And with horrifying speed, he leaps towards the party. I need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh my. That's a nope.
And Becca, if you want to roll for Tice, or if you want to let me know, I can help roll his too.
He left his phone here, so I can roll for him.
Sweet. Perfect.
I'm assuming it doesn't have an impact on initiative, but not 13 for a total of 17.
It might actually, but we'll get to that. Valka, do you know what you got?
12.
12. Stoic has advantage.
Yeah.
Well, good. So instead of a nat 1, he got a 15.
Excellent.
Gingy, do you know yet what you got for initiative? Oh, I'm
My
seeing...
phone updated or changed, and so everything's in a different spot, and it won't let me click on the initiative button. So
no
I might
worries.
just roll a d20 and I'll add the 3 to it.
Sweet. Perfect.
That's a nat 2 for a 5.
Oh, no!
Oof.
Dax did get a 12, it looks like. I just saw it on my end. Because
He has better decks than I do. So probably.
Dax does have better
Although I
decks.
guess you're letting us kind of...
But subgrouped initiative is the thing I'm doing now, where it's like, if you guys share, I think
So
it's...
it doesn't really matter.
I think it's perfect. Here we go. There are a couple people I need to roll into initiative, because this is a large group of... I guess guards isn't the right word. They're more of mercenaries, right? They don't wear, similar... The closest thing they have to group insignia is the symbol of the toad on them.
I was waiting for you to say Black Sun. I was going to be like, nope.
You never know. I mean, hey, cult is different than... I mean, religion and government in theory are different, but...
In
yeah.
this society, because that's not always the case. That's not even most of the time the case.
That's not even most of the case, yeah. So here we go. We've got a couple folks that are coming in. We have some of these rat folk mercenary. You do see a couple of these rat folk do look to be spellcasters of some kind.
Of course they do.
That's a nat 20 from the spellcasters.
No, it's not.
And, of course, we have our big old giant frog boy. And I actually have to roll 2.
Can you auger point their nat 20 spellcasting initiative?
Do you want
That's a
to
good
reaction?
question. Can I use it on
Yes, you may.
initiative?
Completely.
Yes.
It's just,
I
it means you
don't want
will
them to
not
go
have your
first.
reaction until your turn.
That's okay. Thank you.
All right, here
I
we
was
go.
wondering if she would still have her reaction because combat hasn't started yet.
15. 15 plus, what's their modifier? Oh, they still have a plus. That's still an 18. They're still going first.
Grody.
Yeah.
Dang it.
That's,
Thank you for trying.
good try. Yeah, you augur, the future is ever bending, and there was a reality where those spellcasters forgot to wear underwear today, and they went, yeah, never mind, we're rats, we don't wear clothes, and it's, dang. Here we go. As we jump into initiative, copy jumping to my clipboard real quick. I'm going to send this out. Actually, Megan, if I can get this through Messenger to you, would you be willing to send this to the group?
Yeah, do you guys want, like, Facebook Messenger or Discord or...
I don't care which.
I'm gonna just do Facebook.
Yeah, just as long as it travels through. As we enter initiative, to let you know again, we don't have a true battle map for this because this was a darn it kind of situation. It just kind of happened.
Theater of the mind.
One day I will be able to make maps to my heart's content, and we will have everything. I'm getting there.
That's assuming that you'll be able to guess what we'll do every time.
That's so fair.
Here's the thing: I really enjoy like preparing for eventualities,
and you're really good at it.
It's one of those things that I'm like, hey, I mean, in theory, there's just a certain amount of stuff where I'm like, if you're in an area...
In theory, there's a limit to our imagination, but...
In theory. Well, and again, it's really mostly as long as I know the creatures you're going up against.
In theory, if we're on a balcony and we're fighting some hyenas, we can huck one off.
Alright. The first ones to go will be the Rat Folk Warlocks.
Oh.
To, again, let you guys know kind of where you are. Dax and Valka, you're only 5 feet away from the Pillbug machine. You and this rat folk merchant that you were talking with are only 5 feet away, and you might just need to make checks to get in, right? Like, you guys are there, unless you want to, like, double back. For the rest of the party, you are about 60 feet away, back in the harbor. The initiative begins as Stoic, Minareth, Gingy, you're all sitting there, and boom! Landing in a giant thund. This frog, the size of Stoic, lands right next to you.
The size of Stoic?
The size of Stoic! These are giant frogs, as I've labeled them as such for the sake of the initiative tracker. Until you know names, then I'll reveal their names. This giant frog wearing black leather kind of looms up over you all as he just jumped what you could assume is a 60-foot distance. And that didn't look like he broke a sweat doing it.
Lovely.
The rat folk, some of their warlocks will go first. They're mages.
How many do they have?
It looks like there are 2 mages, or 2 warlocks, and
expecting a lot
4
more.
mercenaries.
Okay.
So not a ton. In fact, I will mark that on the initiative tracker. To rat folk, warlock, 2 x2 and yes, and the mercenaries are just also times 4.
This is like fewer people than ambushed me.
It's fewer. It's just the more like, hey, there's 6 of them. They do look way beefier. Those were like
scares me because we don't know what that does yet.
Yeah.
Exact. And the frog is really what it's like. Hey, the frog feels like 6 people, where it's like, you are a big boy, and you don't seem happy about us. These warlocks are going to run forward. They are still 60 feet away, and you will notice their walking speed. Rat folk aren't fast. They only close 25 feet, but both of them do have Eldritch Blast. They're going to target Stoic and Minareth. As they go to hit you. Okay.
Decent. It's a 17.
It's a 17. Okay, that's not bad. Let's see. I'm trying to think of their... Here we go. Eldritch Blast. I have to roll for that, right. Minareth does a 10 hit.
Nope.
And then does a 20 hit.
Yeah.
One of the rat folks' blasts hits you. You see they do have 2 twinned beams of Eldritch Blast. Stoic, that was a nat 3 for both of them. Stoic, olive flavor, boom, boom, hit Stoic. He does not blink, right? I mean, this dude has taken worse than force damage in his life.
Oh, yeah.
Minareth, unfortunately, you will take a bit of damage, and as they are attacking you, you feel ice creep over your limbs as your speed is reduced by 10.
Oh, rude.
These are mercenary type cops. You will only take 1 point of damage.
Oh, so this is a different kind of...
It's if we know them, it's a Lance of Lethargy kind of thing where it's like, hey, it's not agonizing, it's not going to deal like extra stuff, but it's meant to slow you down.
It's okay.
That's the warlocks. Yeah, they run forward, boom, boom, throw that out. The giant frog acts next. Stoic and Minareth, you act on the same turn. Dax,
I would like
Valka,
to
and
go
Gingy,
first
you
before
act
Slow.
on the same turn.
Could I cast my favorite spell?
You may
Slow?
after the giant frog.
Dang it!
Yes, I was gonna
You
say.
were saying, oh, Stoic and Minor, they're on the same turn, so I thought it
As
was ours.
Stoic and Minor, because the giant frog also got an initiative of 15 matching Stoic, but he has an incredible dex.
Of course.
As this frog
Slimy
looms
bugger.
over you, you see him look between Stoic, Gingy, and you. Alors, what are you doing here in underwear?
Traveling.
With a drum, I think not. And you see his tongue darts out lightning fast.
That wasn't a language. That was gibberish.
Gingy, I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw, DC 14.
Be nice to her, Gingy.
Alright. We'll let Gingy make that when Gingy makes that. I realize it froze.
Oh, it's so frozen.
Rats. Literally. Cool. Well, yeah, no, so the giant frog's doing that. So this frog, this French-speaking frog, whips out a tongue to wrap up Gingy when we can. Oh, are you back?
We cut out for a second.
You're totally fine. The giant frog's tongue darts out of its mouth. I need Gingy to make a dexterity saving throw. As its tongue wraps around you, you see him going, "Ah, the cookie!"
Ew.
Yeah.
That's so nasty.
Gingy, what'd you get?
Hey, if he swallows her, she can do.
That's a
inside
synthetic
damage.
20. The
Gingy.
die rolled underneath the little button again, and I didn't see what it was, so I was so scared.
Oh my gosh.
But it
Gingy,
was good.
it's a full. You gotta wake up early in the morning to eat you. And just jump kind of off Minner's shoulder, landing on the other one as this tongue. Minner, unfortunately, this giant slimy tongue. It's a very heavy, wet scarf now on you that wraps.
Ew.
It fails
I don't
in
know how
its
Minner's would react.
tongue. You see, it goes, "Ah, you cannot escape me." And
It's
that is
disgusting. But that was so impressive. The lisp in the French.
That was
well, because his tongue's out.
Exactly.
He-
You're so impressive how you made that sound.
Thank you so much. I
It
practice
was truly
an
disgusting.
unearthly
Good job.
amount of hours in the shower, like any good DM does.
I love
Thank you. That is Stoic and Minirth. Yeah. So Minirth, you see Stoic is actually doing some quick calculations of do we just run? But he is going to enter rage. Minirth, what do you also want to do in acting together?
Now I would like to cast slow. I
Sweet.
am more concerned about mitigating the spellcasters. So since slow is, I think it's only a 40-foot cube.
Yep.
I am going to, if the spellcasters have moved toward us, so then I can get the big nasty toad thing.
With a 25-foot range and you 120 feet, you're good.
I can get them
You
all?
can center it in between them and hit all 6 of them.
Yes.
That's perfect.
Excellent.
They all
here's
have
one-
to
This is the
beat
best
the spell
spell.
save DC of
I'm just
17.
gonna check something real
I
quick.
really love this spell.
They do not have
It's
access to that.
particularly good
Here we go.
against
What is? Yeah, what's the spell save? Sorry.
17.
Okay. They're gonna make some. Oh, jeez. Okay. Cool. Wisdom save. Okay.
I was gonna say, I don't feel like Slow
I
should be
would
an
like
expert.
to reserve an augury point for one that I know is gonna be.
All right. Then I'm gonna call them out as I go.
Okay.
Synthetic 10. Synthetic 3. Synthetic 10. Synthetic 17 exactly.
Augury point.
Augury point. Synthetic 10. So, here's the last 2. Natural 20.
Yeah, it's okay.
Synthetic 8.
Okay.
I did have a specific one to remind. Both of the warlocks are slowed,
Nice.
as well as 4 of the rat folk,
Uh-huh.
because it can
That
only hit
mean-
up to 6.
Uh-huh.
There's a creature that you could have gotten that unfortunately did get the nat 20, which makes a lot of sense.
Is it the toad?
No,
It's an invisible thing?
it's an invisible creature.
Do I know that it exists?
I will give you enough frame of mind arcanely as you boom, 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 and you see like the magic, the silvery mist, that red sparking lunar light. It wraps in, and you're like, boom, warlock, mercenary, and you watch like the last mercenary. No magic seems to try to affect him. I'll let you know like something's out there that could have gotten hit and didn't.
Okay, good to know. Can
It's
I
very good to know.
bonus action message that to everyone else?
You could free speak that even.
No, because
like,
I don't want it to know that.
you don't want. Well, with message, I'll have to say you probably have to choose one person.
I'm going to tell probably Dax.
Damn it!
Dax,
Sorry, no, it's fine. It's just I had
that's
a
fair.
thought.
So,
dang,
Dax,
that's
you
second
get that
choice.
message of we've got an invisible combatant somewhere out here.
I figured that
Um,
Dax is most likely to know what that could be.
That's
The
fair.
party begin.
Stoic goes into a rage, rolls a synthetic 34 and a synthetic
So the
22.
frog is also slowed.
The frog in front of you is not, because he is like right there. It's
that's fine.
the bigger group was that like, oh, there's a lot out
That's
there.
okay.
Wow, even on 113. Stoic rushes and deals 36 points of damage to the giant frog in front of you,
Nice.
and this frog immediately looks horrifyingly hurt.
Thank you.
Like, just disgustingly hurt. As boom, 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 Stoic just starts attacking, and again, you see Stoic is looking back to the public. It looks like he's like, do we just run, right? Disengage and run. But Minareth, at the end of this go, the mercenaries will go. Well, they're slow. And now their speed is half. Holy crap.
And spells are not fun when you're
Rats
slowed.
aren't fast anyway. So their 25 walking speed becomes 12.
Mhm.
They're going to take their only action to dash to move 25 so all the rats are all together. Because that's all they can do in this alleyway. They run forward, and that's it. Dang, that's you know what you are doing. Jeez Louise. Excuse me, Stoic might have missed. Within 5 feet. Never mind. I realize the rats have something they might be able to do, but they're too far away. So you all see, the rats are rushing forward, and boom, boom. Like, the mercenaries are big as well. Like, they easily outsize even Dax and Valka and Minareth, right? Like, they're not, like, even though they're medium-sized, they're still big dudes. As they rush forward, Dax, Valka, and Gigi, you guys are next in our kind of subgroup initiative. Do any of you want to try to act first, or things you want to try to accomplish as the rats are running forward? The frog is looking really hurt, but still up. What kind of stuff you want to try?
I mean,
Dax would like to act first.
Dax wants to act first? Yeah, good. Yeah, that's what...
I was going to say I wanted Dax to go first because he has more
Can
information.
I respond to Minareth and ask for,
Yeah,
specifically, where do you think the person is? Like, would I be able to get enough insight onto where to place my fairy fire?
There's a 40-foot cube of where Minareth plays slow. Fairy Fire is a 20-foot cube. You have a 1 in 4 chance of getting the right area, or I'll allow you to tell me quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4, or middle to hope you hit all 4.
I am going to tell Dax. I'm going to point out which rat folk I noticed the invisible creature near, and hope that that person is still there.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think that would be the best shot anyway.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to assume that whoever is invisible is probably not just hanging out with the group and might be rushing forward to get an early attack or something. So I think I will choose the quadrant near the rat that Minareth saw, but closer to us. So I don't want us to be caught in the fairy fire, but just like in front of us.
I love it. So
Very clever.
that's some great reason. I see. It's that like we gotta get enough. So how many rat folks will that? Will that hit everyone? I think so. Okay, Dax, you are casting this. I have to make rolls. It's dexterity saves. Sorry, what was that?
DC 17.
DC 17. Thank you. Yes. I will let you know, the rat folk actually seem very dexterous, right? Like, they are rats, like, yeah, they're big, but you see, like, these are creatures that can fit their entire bodies through an inch-wide crack in a wall because they're gelatinous, right? They are creepy.
They're gelatinous?
Well, it's more like their bodies are just really straight-up cartilage, right? I mean, they're kind of like sharks where, like, they're not very solid. The rat folk just need a 13 or higher to succeed. Fail, 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 nat 1. All 4 of the mercenaries are fairy fired. And both of the warlocks. Okay.
Good.
And now I am making another save.
Oh, you picked the right place.
Just in front. Called it correctly, Tyson. A creature who was... I'll even let you know. This creature is acting first in the initiative right now.
Oh.
This creature got a high roll, had rushed forward. You see a medium humanoid creature that is technically, it looks like they are hovering slightly off of the ground, just about 10 feet in front of Minrith and Gingy. About. Something had rushed forward. That's insane. And they are outlined in umbral light of the Underdark wafts off this medium-sized creature.
Nice job.
Oh,
Dax.
that's insane. Dax, I gotta give a point of inspiration. That was a
So
true
clever.
Dax moment of using both magic and science and logic to go, there.
That's so
I gotta say, take a point of inspiration. That's so cool. Here we go. Valgar Gingy. So yeah, there's an invisible creature now outlined. That was really clever. What's the vibe now? What do you think is, who wants to go next? It could be Valka or Gingy. Again, there's really nothing interrupting your initiatives.
Am I closer to Velka or to Stoic? Or are
right,
they like pretty?
right now you're closer to Stoic. You, Stoic, and Minrith are in that group that are still like a good 60 feet away from the pillbug looking thing. Because Valka went with Dax, all the way up.
Okay. So I want to. Does Stoic have a battle axe? Is that what he
He
uses?
does have a battle axe.
On it.
You want to cast what?
Weapon.
Magic weapon?
So
Oh.
it'll deal an extra 2d8 damage, radiant damage.
Nice.
Yikes. Yikes.
And
Okay.
it's a bonus action.
Yikes!
Yikes.
I didn't notice that.
We love you,
It's a
too.
bonus action.
That's disgusting. So Stoic's about to be doing 1d12 plus 12 plus 2d8 radiant.
I love that.
I'll say Stoic is raging. You see the bloodthirsty berserker fire in his eyes go from red to just brilliant white, and that sweet smell of sugary chocolate vroom, erupts around you all as Stoic just goes, I'm hungry! As, you see some of these rat folk go, oh dear lord! As this barbarian just said he's hungry, and so they think he's gonna eat him.
What do you mean they think?
Gingy, yeah, that's just your bonus action. Gingy, you still have a full action and movement.
I wasn't prepared for that. Okay.
I know, that's how
So let's just do. That was a surprise. That's fun. Let's just
Busted
guiding
spell,
bolt the
dude.
frog for trying to eat me.
Go for it. Yeah, roll an attack.
And then
That's
give advantage on Stoic's next hit.
insane. And it's gonna grant advantage to the next person. Go for the frog.
Nice.
My gosh.
I'm gonna cast it as a third level, just to
Oh, yeah, that... Go for it. Please do.
Oh wait, whoops! I pushed the wrong button. Sorry. That was.
So we have the damage.
So that's a synthetic 20 to hit.
A synthetic 20 hits, and you wouldn't happen to have the damage already, would you?
It just happens to be 23 points of damage, you know.
23 radiant damage. Oh my gosh.
That's fantastic.
What a turn.
23. That's insane. Okay. You all watch.
Oh wait, is that technically like 2 spells in a turn? Can we do that?
One was a bonus action, one was a cantrip.
Yeah. Was it a
Well,
cantrip?
let's-
Oh,
we might have to play fair. Spiritual weapon is a leveled spell. Okay. Unfortunately, so Gingy, you can't do both spiritual weapon, because spiritual weapon is a leveled spell. Guiding bolt is also a leveled spell.
That sucks though. I really wanted that turn to happen.
That's rough. Oh dang. So yeah, I guess Gingy, you could cast a cantrip right now, because yeah, it's just you can't do the 2
I thought
level.
bonus action was a cantrip. Bonus action was a cantrip. I thought.
Pick that up, so that's not cast anymore. Okay.
That would be
Dang.
disgusting.
Okay. Well, we can
Just here have
do.
2d8 radiant damage as a cantrip concentration.
That'd be amazing.
That's a really good spell to have.
For some reason though.
Oh, Gingy, you have Word of Radiance or Sacred Flame, which are both damaging spell if you want to just attack the giant frog as well.
For some reason,
I was just looking at that. So I'll do. I
let
think.
her cast 2 spells.
Yeah, let's do Sacred Flame.
Whoo! Alright, he'll make a dexterity save. That's a nat 1.
Yeah.
Yay!
Gingy, you hold out the tiny little chocolatey, gingery magic inside you. Your eyes glow. The frosting glows that brilliant white as Stoic's eyes glow, and you just have that sacred flame called down. Boom! In tandem with Stoic's axe strike. Go ahead and roll, 2d8 plus 3 as this frog just gets messed up.
Nice.
Oh my
13.
13. So, still insanely cool amount of damage. It's not a 23, but this dude is looking bloodied as crap. He is so bad. That's Dax and Gingy. Solid turns. Valka, that's you now.
Okay. Can I ride Cloud Jumper over to the invisible dude now limed in fairy fire?
You can. You see the rat bug flying. She's like, "What's going on?" As he's just screaming in panic. You mount Cloud Jumper easily. Cloud Jumper bounds over again. Fast dragon. You are right up next to the invisible creature.
So here's the thing. Between fairy fire presumably already like counteracting the invisibility to make it flat.
I'm double checking. I think Fairy Fire specifically means even if they're invisible, can't benefit from being invisible. So it gives you advantage even though it's invisible.
That was just my thing. Like, because mounted combatant also gives me advantage, but I know you can't stack things, and so I was like, what are the levels of advantage and disadvantage going on right
because
now?
these specifics of Fairy Fire states, it's the creature
You
object
always have
can't
advantage
benefit
if
from
it's
being
Fairy Fire.
invisible.
Nice.
It means it's like already taking away. So it's a smart move though of like, let's make sure we're packing in.
So I'm going to start actually with a Crimson Right at the Storm.
Nice.
Go for it.
I'm going to take 2 points of damage. That's like the lowest I've ever rolled for this. Very nice.
Okay, you take 2 points.
Alright, and then I'm going to take my first attack with my Dragon Fang. I rolled 2 natural ones. That's an 11.
Valka, you hop onto Cloud Jumper, lean forward. You've got this. As you stab down and realize, oh, okay, wait, no, the outline was shifting. So what you saw an arm and, it's the whole body up. So he's to the left, not the right.
Dang it.
18 for the second attack.
18 does hit.
Excellent.
Go ahead with Dragon Fang. You will get to add in 2d10 because this is a type of undead.
Oh, that's excellent.
Ah.
So, first off, what's 18 plus 5? 33?
18 plus 5, 23.
23. And then let me find those d10s.
23 slashing, because these d10s are radiant.
Yeah.
So
So
go-
some of that was lightning. I didn't keep track of which, if that matters.
Lightning is fine. We have to keep track of radiance.
Okay, so let me roll the radiant really quickly. It's a 19 radiant.
Nice.
I rolled a 10 and a 9.
Valka, having somehow anticipated what I didn't want you to, the 19 becomes 38
Excellent.
as it doubles, as you and slash hard down. The creature hisses in anger.
Is it a freaking
I will say, coming out of invisibility, you see a pale creature now with a undead gash across the chest. No blood emits from it, but its fangs as an umbral vampire. This creature of the Underdark hisses in pain, and you see he's wearing a symbol of the Black Sun.
Excellent. Good
Uh,
job.
I'm going to reveal the vampire now in the initiative order.
Because he's no longer invisible.
He's no longer invisible, gang. And you dealt... Oh my gosh, yeah, 38 plus 23. This vampire is in one hit now looking horrifyingly hurt.
Imagine if I hadn't rolled 2 nat 1s.
If you gotten both attacks off, this could have been really bad.
Does Cloud Jumper get to hit him?
Cloud Jumper does get to hit him.
Yeah.
I've got some of the preliminary stats. Again, this is a creature in progress because I'm trying to make him as balanced and as fair as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, Cloud Jumper is still a really good dragon. He's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
Here we go. Your Cloud Jumpery boy. I'm gonna say he acts with your initiative. I realize technically he also does now get to act on his own initiative if you ever want him to. But I think it will always be that Cloud Jumper's gonna either hold turns or wait. Unless you want to, like, send him off. Cool. Cloud Jumper's got some pretty cool attacks. Go ahead, I'll have you roll these. Cloud Jumper gets to make 3 attacks, a bite and 2 claw.
And are all of these at advantage because Fairy Fire?
These are all advantage. Fairy
All
Fire,
right.
as long as Dax keeps that concentration, you guys got a great advantage.
Oh yeah.
So the first one is a natural 18.
Jeez, that hits. Okay, his bite, I will start rolling damage. Go ahead and roll 2 claw attacks.
A 9 for the first one.
A 9 does not hit.
And an 11 for the second one.
An 11 does not hit either.
He doesn't add anything? Or just
Oh, that's what you rolled.
both of them, because I don't know their stats.
Hey, you're right. With
So-
his plus 8 to the 9, this is 17, which
Okay.
hits. And what was the other one?
11 for a
plus 19 hits.
Nice.
2 hits.
So 3 hits because the bite and the 2
3
plus.
hits. I will say, these are not magical, unfortunately. Again, in this world, dragons are more bestial. They are not, like, innate magical creatures. But still, my goodness.
He's a good boy.
40 points of damage half to 20.
Nice.
As Cloud Jumper rips in and shreds up the front of this dude's coat. I will actually also let you know, Cloud Jumper might have a breath weapon if you ever want to utilize it. Right now, there's a lot of friends around, but you know Cloud Jumper has some cool stuff he's able to do.
Very
And I'm not going to tell you all because also it's fun to kind of discover.
Discover.
Hey, how to train your dragon, right? Like, figure it out. The vampire, though, is now bloodied.
Excellent.
The vampire
Well,
was...
we'll kill him.
The vampire did take that double move, getting up here last turn, hasn't done anything, and is totally going to drop that invisibility because it's not doing anything.
So he can't kill him.
Can't regenerate on his turn.
Woohoo! Yes!
The vampire looks bad. Yeah, this was like a haha, I'm going to get a quick attack in, and slow
Nope.
sucks.
Nah.
Slow and Fairy Fire are amazing combos. The vampire is.
And then a Valkyrie kind of ruined his day.
Well, it helped that like you got the ping to know he was there, and then you alerted Dax, who did the big fairy fire, which is.
It was a good.
It was a really good
choosing
setup
Dax
for you
was a
two.
smart one, and again, because if you had told anyone, the vampire could have moved.
Yeah.
So
I'm
the
so glad I
vampire
didn't message.
actually is
That was
going
clever that
to
you messaged
full
Dax.
disengage, turn into mist, and flee.
Oh,
Rude.
what a little.
I will let you
witch.
know, because specifically, I actually have to be fair about this. I'm making sure he might be able to do only one or the other. I can't find if his other form lets him do that as an action. Okay. It does take his action to change into a cloud of mist. I will let you know. Crap. Valka, you are going to be allowed to take an opportunity attack as the vampire flees. As
Excellent.
I will let you know, it's going to be immune to any damage. So Cloud Jumper might swipe at it, but won't because it can't do anything. You have a magical sword that deals magical radiant damage and have a chance at hitting him as he flees.
And I still have advantage.
The mist still has... It's glowing
stamina
mist.
Point this.
Okay,
So I just need to not roll another 2 nat ones.
that's amazing.
Oh, how's a natural 17 for a 27?
That hits.
Excellent. So I am doing 3d6 for 18 plus 6 is all the normal damage. 24 normal
24.
damage.
Plus your strength
then-
modifier.
No, I added that.
Oh, already added. Okay.
And then the radiant will be 20, because 2d10s.
44 points of damage?
Yeah.
No.
And the radiant doubles, so it's 40 of just radiant, and then 24 of extra magical.
Please, 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 please.
Did I just kill a vampire?
He had 63 hit points.
Ha! 64 hit points, sucker! Stamina point well
That's
used. Stamina
so
point.
Cool.
I
That
love this
is
system.
actually...
I love this game. I
You
love
gotta
you
love
guys.
this. Hey, best game in the world.
Best game in the world.
This
It's
vampire
amazing.
turns
Oh
into
my
mist. You
gosh.
see he's another time, and oh shit, shot, and you just head clean
No, I
off.
think it's funnier
Boom,
that
boom,
like,
boom.
he is mist, but just the glowing sword cuts through the mist
You
and
cut
burns it away.
Exactly, as he's
He's
like,
like,
no, fuck, no, ah! It just burns away. As this isn't a true vampire. I mean, he has a lot of great stats, a lot of hit points, but don't do crap when you got a magical flying sword.
Just like 2 turns from Valka, and
Oh
he's gone.
my gosh.
I really was going for the kill because we got that black
Yes.
sun thing, and I'm like, we can't just leave him running around, like,
I'm
causing
so
shit and knowing that we're here.
I cannot believe that you
I
just
love this game.
did that. That's amazing.
With my first attack whiffing it.
I
We just
know.
appreciate that for a second.
Here's what I
That's
will
amazing.
give
Oh my
you.
gosh. You're giving me stuff?
I'm gonna give you stuff.
Loot the mist?
Rule of cool.
Well,
I
because
mean,
he's got
honestly,
stuff on his body. I just have to like
Can she
remember.
get a point of inspiration for that?
That was the
Oh,
most
I
Valka
didn't
thing to
really
do ever.
anything clever.
You hopped a dragon
That's
and
right.
just decimated a vampire in one round. I'll give a point of inspiration. I think that's pretty cool.
I appreciate
I think that is well spent.
Thank you.
Cool. All right.
So what do I get?
Here is what you receive. Okay. Valka. This dude had a couple stuff on him. Go ahead and mark down. You have a spell scroll of Misty Step.
Nice.
Oh.
You have a spell scroll of Alarm. I don't know why I said it like that. Because he is alarmed. He was very alarmed. You also have a spell scroll of Banishment. And beyond that, go ahead and mark down 30 gold pieces. This dude kept a pretty big coffer, pouch-looking thing. And none of the armor or anything else on him is pretty... Again, this was not an assassin, you think, but like that scout of really... It's a vampire. Dude's dead. Taking him out of initiative. That's insane. Oh my gosh. And it was his turn, too. Can't do it. All right. Hey, the Ratfolk Warlocks are still 35 feet away.
Hey, did we make any rules for frightened?
We did not. Valka, you emanate true fear. What's your save on this?
Is it my Hemocraft modifier?
Yep.
See, I think that's a 14.
Every single rat fails. The frog
To
succeeds.
be fair, she just killed their vampire.
I was gonna say, 'cause that's the fun flavoring.
The black...
If
yeah.
you're ever gonna be scared.
Yeah, all these rats are, Ron, get out of here, sir! You got... Ah! As you cut through the mist itself and the body just burns onto the ground. All these rats are screaming in fear. Run away! And they are just running in midair as the slow condition is just keeping them 2 inches off the ground. We got this! Come on, then! There's nobility in retreating! And they are just like...
Discretion is the better part of valor.
God.
I will say, actually, with the fear condition, your fear condition doesn't, like, force them to run. They're
But I
getting
feel
the
like with the
hell
added
out of
intimidation
dodge.
Feeling they could flee.
They will
Like,
take their full 1 action to run. And I will say, I forgot to... Oh, well... Okay, one of them succeeded to break out a slow, but he's just full running at the end of his turn. So,
excellent.
the warlocks turn and run. As
So,
they're
Run
the...
and counter gang.
Route them.
They're starting to get routed. Cool. That is
Froggy
the
boy, but
giant
if we
frog.
only have him to worry about, we can all just...
The
Stop
giant
it
frog,
together.
though, is... He doesn't like the look of this either.
That's fair.
He is going...
He might just full run at this point.
He has a chance. It's this 1-a-day thing. Here's what he's going to do. I need Gingy to make me 1 more dexterity saving throw, and I will let you know the frog bends down. That you hear that rubbery kind of texture as he bends down, but right before he leaps, his tongue is whipping out. He's trying to grab Gingy and run.
If
Exclusive?
he did, would Stoic get an opportunity attack for him trying to leave?
Maybe.
Okay.
We'll see.
That's an 18.
Gingy,
Nice.
gotta wake up early. You and they're just like hopping around Minner's shoulder. As Minner, you're gonna have to buy new clothes. Get over here.
I'm
You are
just,
quite
you
the
know,
slippery
just
little cookie.
I am full on just no.
I'm going to eat the cookie. Oh wait, that cookie is out. As this frog will
that's
use
so
this once a day.
nasty.
It is called expeditious releap.
That's
It
funny.
it's a fun little ability he's got. Basically, unfortunately, there is no opportunity attack
Okay.
involved because it's using his full movement and his bonus action to just because he has to
It's not would
flee.
have been then really bad. We couldn't have.
It would have been it would have been you would have had to chase after him and try
Yeah.
to get Gingy back, right? Either on Cloud Jumper or
As in, because if Cloud Jumper took like full dashes, I could maybe get there.
Maybe
trying,
keep up.
But
But yeah, thankfully Gingy, you whisk out of the way, and the frog boing leaves. I will let you know it is now Stoic and Minner's turn, but you're noticing the creatures are starting to rout. The only creatures that have not yet physically run are the mercenaries, the rat mercenaries, but they might run on their turn. So Stoic's actually going to look to you, Minner. He's like, right, lass, what's the play? As you see his axe is glowing, that spiritual weapon, as he could kill some creatures if he wanted to. Hey, wait a second.
wait a second.
Minnerth, you tell me what your play is.
How far away is the toad thing?
The giant frog has just leapt a grand total of 60 feet away.
Would he be considered a monster?
Yeah, well, in what regard? Does he have the monster
Like in
condition?
Charm
monster?
Monster?
Oh, charmed. Because he's not a humanoid.
Here's the thing. He's humanoid enough, but I think for the purposes of Charm Monster, I'm ruling he has too high of an intelligence and wisdom modifier for him. He is sentient. I don't think I can. He is a monstrous creature, a stat block, but he is a humanoid monster, not a monster.
So you're telling me that if we tried charm person, that would work?
I don't have.
I am telling you that Charm Person could work on this creature because person is
It
a
was just
D&D.
the like making sure that was the ruling for me
Yeah,
of the
that
like if
makes
it's not
sense.
one, it has to be the other.
With a running start. Holy cow, Stoic might be able to catch up.
That would be
That's
awesome.
my husband.
Stoic can jump. Yeah. Oh
I'm
my
just
gosh.
going to run 30 feet towards the frog, but let
Oh, 'cause
Stoic
of
take
his
the rest of his
assessing
turn,
strength score.
and then decide what I want to do based off of that. Is that okay?
Say it one more time.
I'd like
just to
to
make sure.
run up my full 30 feet with Stoic, but let Stoic take his turn before I decide what to do.
Stoic. That's an 18 on the die, let alone his athletic score with
Gotta be
advantage.
gross.
That's a 31. He just goes, right, come on! And he picks you up, puts you on his back. And so,
Works.
Gingy is riding, Minarith is riding Stoic. It's a turducken of adventurers. Stoic has a 29 horizontal
Oh my
running start
gosh.
long jump, which with his barbarian 40 feet gets you guys a grand total of 15 feet away from the creature, and Stoic takes his other 10 to be 5 within, so Stoic can start making attacks.
That's amazing. I will
Love
let
to
Stoic
see
do those full attacks.
Stoic has, again, Gingy is sitting there, concentrating on this celestial sugary magic. Stoic jumps forward, takes you guys with, just in case you want to do stuff, and is going to make his attacks. That's a 26. Oh, come on. And a 28. Dealing 22. 21. We're up to 43. And let's throw in some... let's give Gingy's little celestials here. My goodness. 43 plus 16. 59 points of damage. Jeez Louise. The frog is on death's actual door. As you all see Stoic, boom, takes a couple steps and jumps as hard as he can, landing with that boom, thunder smite. Minarith, it's your turn with Stoic. The frog's on death's door.
Death's door? Well,
Death's door.
I'll just do firebolt on it then.
Oh my
We can
God.
have
Nice.
frog legs for dinner. No, I'm not. I'm joking. He's a
Hey,
sentient creature.
this is a sentient
I would
creature.
not do it.
There's a line and there's a...
That's what I said.
Even
I
the
was
rat folk
joking.
would give you really
I was
bad
joking.
looks.
In our Oregon Trail
That's
campaign, is
a
this where we would
21?
go there?
21 hits.
Yay! Alright.
This is 2d10 of fire damage.
That's 16 points of damage.
How do you want to do this?
I just... No, Minarith isn't that dark. Never mind.
Lonnie is that
The
dark.
horrible implication
Yes.
of I'm a dark person, but
I
this
just
is a good
like
person.
to do it right up the head because that's going to be the quickest way for him to die. And she's much more humane than I am, apparently.
I'm so curious
So
what
much
you
more
would have
humane.
done.
I will let you know, Minarith.
I was going to try and
You
cause
just-
fear in his subjects by making him smell delicious.
Boom!
But,
You slam this fireball. The frog tumbles to the ground. As the rat folk behind you scream, "Cheese it!" And one of them goes, "Cheese!" They all will rush off. They can't go the way you are because you just blocked off their normal escape. But you see, on their turn, they're all taking their full dash actions.
they can't. Not with so they
well,
have one action. They don't have
one
a
action
bonus
to
action as
run,
well.
I should say.
That
Sorry.
makes more sense.
A couple of them break out. All the rat folk are routed.
Alright.
And I will say we come out of initiative as all the rat folk flee. You see the merchant behind you. All you kind of like breathing that, like, okay, that was good. That was a pretty easy routing fight.
Warm up.
You hear the merchant behind you. What in the name of the nine hells was that?
Your
What was
security
what?
detail.
Passage to Underlondon.
You see, you go, "No, come aboard. Can I get you any iced tea?" As he like is now the most accommodating dude ever. Of like, that was intense. I mean, you took off. I mean, I'll actually say as you're going, he's like, right, where'd you all learn to do that?
Survive in this world. Do you get harassed by those folk often?
You see, he says, not really. My name's Tim, by the way. Nice to
Nice
meet
to meet you,
you. He shakes some of your hands. I was like, you all load in. He's basically done. So he closes down and is about to start up this mechanism. You see this giant, beautiful, like arcane crystal, the kinds you see down the Underdark. Boom, 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 boom. And you realize it's one of those like exploding mushroomy crystals that has been retrofitted to power this machine.
That's super cool.
And you see Tim just kind of like, right, I know. I mean, you gotta survive, but like, Holy loaf, that was insane. You killed, those frogs. You know what you've done, right?
No.
Well, those are some of the...
Dax is going to eventually fill in the party that we probably became pretty big public enemies.
As the
Should we
frog...
have killed them all and stopped stories?
I think
Was
so.
that a bad call to
I will.
let go?
This was in the middle of a public
The
court.
frog.
This frog, let alone being big, it's gonna be that easy enough. He's got allies that would be able to figure out what happened, let alone eyewitnesses. Like, you see, Tim's like, right, no, the frogs, they work directly with the toads. They're one of those hired... they're one of those French people. You ever meet French people?
Irish snobs.
Yay. Like, they think they're so nice with their fancy words and their fancy fries.
That reminds me, I'm going to be doing prestidigitation constantly over my
fries?
entire
Fancy
person
fries.
to get rid of the frog saliva.
Minrith is slowly, like, patch by patch, like, never be clean, never be clean, never be clean.
I think Cloudjumper tries to help by licking it off of you.
I have another friend.
Minrith, you are just like, you might just want to buy new clothes. It's like, but Cloudjumper licks the frog mucus off of you with fresh dragon mucus. You see
Dragon
Tim,
mucus is cooler.
just like, right, no, let's get out of here. And honestly, don't drop my name anytime soon. Like, I'm sorry, we're cool. I hope you know we're cool. I have no problem with you lot.
Excellent.
But like, if
But
you're
don't
taking
drag
it,
your
You're gonna make sure that he remembers that we're working with House Tail.
you think he thinks you're working with House Tail, so it's not
Yeah.
like, okay, if House Tail is open
Starting
rebellion
something.
now, he doesn't want.
To be fair,
Oh.
To be fair, us as a party,
Well,
they
Kane's
did
not
just
so
kind of
little
attack
bit.
us without provocation.
Yep.
It's not like we started that.
Well, I think it's like, especially for Dax, you're like, oh yeah, there's a lot of political dominoes that might be shifting. But again, it's not like you specifically. It just might mean House Tail might get a lot of fire right now.
Yeah.
Well, and that's to be fair, if Tim ever squeals, because to the rest of the world, a group of adventurers got cornered by a bunch of thugs and high, powerful toad people,
right? Like,
and got iced.
What were we gonna do?
Like, I mean, it's like, wow. I mean, you might not be in great standing with the Toad, but for the rest of the Underdark, it's like,
They
yeah,
just
welcome to
want people to
life.
jump.
Thank you.
You guys had the bigger stick.
Quick
We did,
question.
in fact.
Is dragon mucus by any chance fire resistant or anything?
Actually, it's very fire flammable.
Interesting. Can I
Uh,
bottle some?
I love it.
I hate when you guys bait me into like lore questions and then like help you. Sure, you can bottle some of this. It won't last too long. It's not like kind of think like how gasoline. There's like an
All right.
expiration, but enough of like, yeah, this could be helpful.
And great.
Sure.
Thank you.
You all watch. Yeah, Tim powers up his mechanical pill bug, and you watch arcane technology, artificery, machine, and magic glows, and you watch as the multi-legged creature walks forward. Before you hit the waterfalls, you see Tim just like, right, we're gonna be like about 3 hours out from a quiet spot, so if you need me, and you see he points to like a pad of like parchment and ink, and you realize within seconds what he means. If you've ever been near a waterfall, the just thunderous sound, almost painfully deafening, suddenly hits your ears. Tim pulls out earplugs for any that would want it. You're able to withstand it. It's not like you're gonna have to make con saves, but you see how someone who works this job, like Tim, you see this rat, like he has like his ears have overgrown with like hair and wax and build up to like even naturally block out a lot of sound. As you all travel through the grand cavern of waterfalls, that's where we're gonna take a break. Thank you guys so much, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Interrogated the stupid
Welcome back. Excellent. Peacekeepers, you tear through these insane rat folk, a vampire and a frog.
Sounds like a bar joke. Like
It really does.
6 rats, a frog, and a vampire walk into a bar.
right?
One of them is eviscerated in a mist form. The frog is ripped asunder by fire, and the rats flee. But indeed, you guys head into Tim the Rat Folk, this merchant's little vessel, which through writing, Tim will let you know, these are called water crawlers. These specific things made
Is
with...
this the itsy bitsy spider crawling up the water spout of this waterfall? Is that what this is right now?
I don't know, but...
Dax, did you get to the above ground in this thing? Or something like this?
August, I don't think you get to say you don't know.
I'm not saying
Dax is not on about in one of these.
Okay.
Dax hasn't crawled in one of these, but I will say, Dax, I actually wonder, how are you feeling with all the water and the noise, right? Like, because this is something you've experienced.
Yeah, no, this is as much as Dax was kind of trying to put on a braver face to get passage, this is like, he's trying to not just like fall into a panic attack right now.
Oh.
I think, actually I'll say, passive insight, maybe that's what I'm going to use. Just kind of going through here. Dax, as you're trying to keep on a brave face, going off your, wow, you've got great passives. Gingy, you're not noticing too much. And Valka, you're not noticing too much either. Minrith, you have a passive 16 insight.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you have pretty good passive. So I think you notice, and maybe it's because you see Bart, who is on Dax's shoulder, is like softly, one of his arms is like kind of like stroking the side of Dax's ear, and you can't hear this, but Dax, you just hear, yes, it's good. No water. It's safe. Big object. It keep warm, like umbrella. And so, Minrith, I think you see that, like, just that reflexive, like, steeled nerves from Dax right now.
I'm trying to check to see. Oh, I thought I had calm emotions. I don't. I think I'm just gonna keep it to myself then, and just keep an eye on Dax as needed.
You keep an eye on Dax, but yeah, that kind of like, I'm not gonna say
I think
anything.
he did at one point. I think he must have swapped it out for
That
something.
would make sense.
Yep. You all, time passes, and it's an odd going. Yeah, indeed. Like Tim was saying, every so many hours or minutes, there is stoppage, and you realize they're kind of just these points of like maybe 60 to 70 feet of rock, horrifyingly slick. Like, you know, Tim advises like, right, and I will say he's yelling, but for the right, don't step too far. If you slip and if there's a current, you're gone. Like, but he's like, he'll stop the engine, open it up, and you realize he's got like compasses and different ways of checking, and you see he's following kind of this route of like through making these stops, places, letting the like arcane crystal recharge its juice, or maybe firepower is a better word. But as you're going through, I'm actually going to say there's about 5 stops along the way. I'm just going to roll some quick random encounters as you go through, as even in such a hostile environment as the Grand Channel of Waterfalls, there are things down here. Wow. I'm rolling low tonight, gang. The highest of those rolls was an 8.
Is that good for us or bad for us?
You'll find out.
Fair enough.
To be fair, I had want encounters.
Kind of want to encounters, want to hit things. You want to hit.
I like hitting things.
You like hitting things.
You're very good at it. So
I think the
nothing
first
too-
couple stops are pretty uneventful, because these are like close enough to what we could call civilization, right? Underway is again the idea of, hey, these are the first few gas stations on a road trip where it's like I'd even say you see other like areas you pop out of, like there are other larger convoys, like massive, like the machine that Tim has, but on a much wider scale, or multiple convoys, all moving in tandem. Tim advises, and you see just like, yeah, just keep a distance. Just don't try to antagonize anyone. We're all in the same routes. And you see, as going through, eventually, many hours pass, and we're coming up on what we would call night, or that circadian rhythm of your mind is saying, like, I'm almost feeling tired now. It might be darker. Again, you've been spending the past week and a half down here. As you come upon a stop, you see the metal door opens up into a grand little cavern. Water on all sides as usual, maybe about 40 by 50 feet, this ovaloid or oval oblong shape. As you all step out, would you all be willing to give me perception checks?
Sure.
As you're making these checks,
I do think Dax would probably be staying more inside.
Gotcha. Yeah, you stay inside. That's perfectly fair. Because you see, Tim opens the door again. It's more that, like, hey, let's get some fresh air. Let's stretch. Here we go. So, did anyone get a 17 or higher?
21.
21? Jinju, did you also get a 21 as well?
Nice.
My gosh.
Besties.
Minrith, what'd you get?
5.
Minrith, I think it's enough of, like, you are doubling back to check on Dax and have enough of that, like, oh, is he doing okay? Gingy and Valka, you guys step out, and you see even Cloudjumper kind of, its eyes become a little slit, like, you guys look, and what's rather ominous is it is thunderously loud. Again, Tim is yelling, like, it'll just be another couple seconds. Got to recharge the old crystal. We can get back on our way. And Gingy and Valka, even in this darkened little cavern, illuminated only by the arcane magic of this water walker that you are in, out across those waterfalls, you see a large shadow swim past.
Uh-oh. Tim, is there usually something in the water there?
See Tim kind of stomp. What was that? Something in the water?
Aye, is that normal?
Gonna make a check. Tim kind of. Was it big or little?
Could we tell?
It looked huge.
Enormous.
He goes, "Aye, what's that then?" Check it. You see, Tim actually will stop. So like Gingy, I'll even say maybe Gingy, you're like on Valka's shoulder. You guys out in this very, again, if you've ever stood near a waterfall, you just get drenched by being here. So like water's everywhere, all over you. Gingy, it's not like, oh, let's not get too wet now. So you're nestled into the armor. But you guys watch. Tim points out. It's like, right, you see this thing. Oh, and you see he points out, cresting horizontally, like out of an ocean, a gigantic whale-like creature breaches. You see it has multiple fins, like strange tropical fish, but is the size of what we would know as beluga whales, these truly ginormous creatures, as splashing, drenching water. You see Tim, who's now just a wet rat, just kind of like, kind of cackles.
Incredible.
It breaches, and you're realizing it is not only whale-esque, but dolphin-esque. As it breaches, it is jumping through the waterfall to gain height, as this creature is in a constant state of motion, this giant creature.
So it's the little ones we need to watch out for?
See, Tim explains, like, right, no, that's a bellin. Beautiful. Vast, they live in these mighty beasts, right, to live in such hard climates. No, there's little things out here you don't want to find. They're attracted mostly to well, and you see he kind of like smells. He smells like a disgusting wet rat now, right? Like if you ever seen like a sewer rat, it's that vibe where he goes like, I might close the door here sooner than normal. They've got terrifying sense of smell in the water, but we should be good. But this is where Megan, want to make me a D20 roll?
Are you trying to do the call out Murph thing because you want some? I shouldn't have said I wanted an encounter. That's a 7.
I thank you so much.
You love your cursed wife.
As you see, Tim is facing, so Gingy and Valka, you guys are at the door. And so you will see Tim is facing away. Like, he was, like, not outside the water walker, but just enough of, like, pointing out the bellin and turns around and goes, oh, it's a beautiful song. No, yeah, the little ones, they're attracted by smell. You see behind him, I gotta play it. But as he talks about small creatures out in the waterfall, you swear you see one little shape, another shape. No, it's your mind playing tricks. I mean, Tim said just maybe one or two.
Is that the Jaws theme?
As swimming out, you catch a dorsal fin, and then another. And as you look around the water walker, they are swimming around this tunnel of air. The bellin is all but gone. And I need everyone to roll initiative.
How long have we been traveling again?
Right now you've been traveling for about 5 hours. I'd actually allow a short rest. If anyone needs to.
Hey,
Can I opt not to take a short rest?
If you want to, like, have been, like, observing. So I think for Dax, make me a Constitution saving throw. Let's see if you were relaxed enough to take a short rest.
yeah.
I think maybe it's like normally I don't do
Did
that, but
Bart
I'm like,
give him advantage with his little help?
Bart will for sure give you advantage. I think Bart is. You're familiar with playing the whole time. Like, yes, he's good. He's good. Yes, he's
He's a
not.
good
Thank you,
little-
Bart. With advantage, I got a 5.
Buddy.
Dax, I don't think you took a long rest yet. I think it was a very traumatic experience, and it's not looking great. As you all look around, emerging like jet propulsion torpedoes, horrifying sharks with the lower half like someone had carelessly attached horse legs.
I accidentally gave him these. I apologize.
know, you told
I'm
us.
so sorry. I had literally forgotten about them. You waited so long. Congratulations.
Tim is
you
whipping
got
your
it.
eyes like, right, land sharks! As he screams in fear.
What the bloody hell are land sharks?
He's like, when wizards get bored, they get freaky. Yeah, wizards make weird things.
Merlin!
What do you mean,
Please tell me it
Merlin?
was
That's
actually Merlin's
all the wizards in this world
But
do
did
bad
Merlin
stuff.
make the land sharks?
I will let you know Merlin did not canonically make land
Oh, I
sharks.
really kind of wanted
Here
that
we go.
to be something.
Did
I really
for
expected that. to be
initiative,
right.
did anyone get 20 or higher?
I wish.
Okay.
We're gonna
These
die.
things are disgusting.
Did anyone get 15 or higher?
Yes! 17.
Minarth got a 17.
Slow. I know,
Um,
right? Because they're fast little buggers.
All right. Did anyone get a 10 or higher?
I did.
What'd you
I
get?
got an 11.
All right. And did anyone get a 5 or higher?
I got a 9.
I got a 7.
Oh no.
What did Stoic get?
You gotta know. Stoic has advantage
He has
on
advantage.
initiative.
He is historically
I rolled
bad
a
at
4 and a
initiative.
5. Stoic never starts a fight; he always finishes it.
I don't like
Yeah.
Minarth's like the only one going
Go
soon,
ahead.
though.
Roll me for Cloud Jumper 2. We gotta keep
Oh,
remembering
yeah.
to do that. And again, and you can always say like if you want him to just hold for you. But again, maybe having someone going sooner might help.
That's a
That
7.
was a hint.
A 7. All right, Cloud Jumper's going pretty well.
What's the add to that?
Cloud Jumper has a +4.
Oh, still
So
faster than me.
it's technically faster than you, Valka. So he's on your turn. Here we go, gang. Let's throw in our land sharks. Terrifying, truly. These
Thanks, Megan.
sharks are.
Look, when I came home and thought I could tell my husband about my day at school, I didn't think he would weaponize it and say, "Here's how I'm gonna screw your day over in D&D."
What a beautiful example
I've
of marriage.
never screwed over anyone's day in D&D, I hope. The land sharks appear as creatures very much outfitted for this type of environment. They did get a synthetic 19 for their go. You watch Tim turns. I'm going to roll a d4 to see how many rounds left before he can safely start up the water walker. Because again, you guys are all basically inside right now, but it's that level of like, we're not in a great spot. All right, that is 3. Tim goes, right, I need 3. I need at least 20 seconds. Buy me time. And you see, he rushes to the crystal and is gonna start making checks, doing stuff, just to like. He could leave sooner, but it could risk damaging the water walker, and the last thing you want is to be stranded in this terrain.
Yeah.
He is just saying, buy me time. The land sharks charge. You all see a grand total of 7 land sharks are rushing you. They charge. Only 2 can fit in the door, so Valka and Gingy, you are here. They're going to take attacks on Valka. You do not have all your hit points, and the land sharks can smell that as their blood frenzy. You see their eyes, and their eyes get super dilated. They kind of like twitching, and their weird equine legs are pawing. You realize the horse legs do technically have claws at the end of the hooves. It's really unnerving. You think these things could?
I didn't give him that.
These things could climb. So they will have advantage to hit you. So here we go. There's 2 attacks coming your way. Does a 18 hit?
Oh, just barely. Yeah.
Just barely. And yikes, that's a dirty 25.
Yeah,
Valka, you watch these things. It's that like, right? These are sharks with horse legs. How fast can they? Oh shoot! And you watch they rip into your side. The first attack deals you 15 piercing damage.
Mm-hmm.
The second one deals you 16 piercing damage. So you take 31 points of damage, and I'm going to make Valka. You're going to make me 2 athletics checks to shove these creatures away from the hole as they're trying to burrow into the water walker.
Lovely.
Very much that very just bestial, like they can sense creatures in here to eat.
One of those is going to be a 19, and the other one's going to be a 22.
A 19 and a 22. The 19 does not succeed against the 20, but the 22 does be a 17. So one of these creatures, and again, the
Could
water
I have,
walker.
Got an advantage from Cloud Jumper or something?
Unfortunately, not yet,
Okay.
because the initiative, it's like Cloud Jumper would take his turn, and then
I
it
was
could have
just
been
wondering,
like, yeah, it's a weird when you
if
enter
it was
initiative.
like that flavored as an attack,
Yeah, no.
or like how.
Because you also see, again, this thing, and it bites you for sure, but one of these things just squeezes past you, and again, its skin is that horrifying. As it slides past, it's very smooth, and it gets horrifyingly abrasive the second you try to, like, run the other way, like, against the grain. And so you feel that, like, yeah, it's sliding in, you're trying to push away, and it's ripping into your hands, going, ah! One of these land sharks gets inside the water walker. It is now difficult terrain here as this thing is just whipping around. And you hear Tim just like, holy crap! Kill it! As he is just frantically trying to fix the ship. Minareth, that is your go.
Okay! It's my signature spell! We gotta do slow! I gotta try and get
Awesome.
as many of these friggin' land sharks as I can.
Here we go. Because there's one inside. 40-foot cube within range. Again, you don't have to see. If you wanted to, you might be able to cast this outside if you want to try to catch the 6 sharks outside of the walker.
Oh, I think
Or
that would be more
you could try to center it
actually, yeah.
inside and choose the one inside as well.
Nah, I'm gonna get the 6 outside.
Get the 6 outside. I'll let you know. Super smart. Because again, even when you start moving, they might give chase. So here we go. That's a natural 20 for their first.
Okay. I will go ahead and use my Ivory point on that one.
Okay. Save 17. On a wisdom save, that's a failure. On 13. 8. 16. 14. 5. 3.
They all fail.
That is
oh my gosh.
all 6 outside.
Saves. Are any of them frightened of me?
Oh, you're right. I will double check because they might have missed on their attacks. They're gonna make their wisdom saves against your DC 14 for your Blood Hunter abilities. Fail. Success. Success. Fail. 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 Success. Fail. Okay. 3 succeed, 4 fail. I might have actually rolled well. So I think it's like, yeah, the 2 right in front would have succeeded anyway, so it didn't affect their attacks. But you're noticing, like, the other 4 are definitely not jonesing to jump in. Now that they're slowed and afraid, it's a terrifying combo with just those 2 effects right now.
So I would like to do one more thing because you
Yep.
said that we could do another spell if it's a cantrip.
Yeah.
I would like to cast Prestidigitation. I would like to cause the scent of blood amongst the 6 that are still in the water.
Oh, that
That's
is so cool.
smart.
How do I wanna do this? It's because Prestidigitation, I believe, is an action. Because part of the whole spell rule is as long as one's a bonus.
That's true.
I think that's just too clever, though. I might allow it just for this instance.
Thank you.
Go ahead. You're gonna give me we're gonna call this a deception check.
Okay.
Because it's that full, like, even though it's very real, you're
That's
trying.
a natural 16. What's my deception? Let's see. Oh, I went the wrong way. Come on. There we go. Deception is a +5, so 21.
21. I'll let you know. The ones outside may have to hit nat 20s to succeed.
Oh.
None of them are nat 20s.
Oh.
So, at least for now, and now I will say, you will kind of like, even though it's not normally concentration, you might have to concentrate.
That's
The
okay.
idea of, duration up to an hour, but like a constant recasting
No,
of like,
that's totally
keep
fine.
it
Thank
away.
you for letting me do that. That's very nice
I
of you.
think it's really cool. Minrith, you, and all the ones outside immediately turn. You know they might not want to jump in and attack, but there is still the one inside. Cloud Jumper and Valka. It is wildly tight in here. Valka, you see Cloud Jumper is roaring to go, but also tight space. Cloud Jumper does have disadvantage on his attacks right now, just because of how small.
You were just informing me that Cloud Jumper has a breath weapon, right? And so can he aim that out the doorway at this thing that's trying to crowd in the doorway?
We're going to make a... Here's the thing. Do you want to lock this in right now? As this is what you want Cloud Jumper to do.
Unless I really shouldn't?
I'm not going to tell
If
you.
there's,
I
like,
think it's a good... I think it's a...
90% chance this is gonna like blow up and
This
like
is
get
the
contained with
best
us,
D&D
but-
choice. Because Cloud Jumper will have to make a check to position himself.
Yeah.
Again, super dexterous. Cloud Jumper can move around, but it's can you move so we're not hitting any party member. And I will say, if
I
you
think it's
fail,
worth a try.
Cloud Jumper's not going to just do it anyway. He's going
Right.
to go. Here we go. We are pulling out the box of doom.
Anyway.
Lonnie, would you mind handing me the box of doom? We are doing this, gang. This is an insane check. Let me grab, what's a good one? I'm going to use my Christmas dice. That's a fun one.
Oh, you're rolling this?
Cloud Jumper is going to try and position himself.
Can I like give him a help action or something?
Mm-hmm. Cloud Jumper has a +5
Okay, that's
And
not
with the
Uh,
help
to
action,
his
that's
dexterity.
good.
with the help action. This is your action. He's got to hit a DC 20 because this is a sardine type metal can.
Makes sense.
So needs to hit a 15 or higher.
Mhm.
Otherwise, he won't be in the right spot, and it will damage not only your allies but the walker. Right.
Mhm.
So here we go. First roll, that's an 11. 16.
Yes!
on a
That's
21.
amazing.
Now, we are not out of the box doom yet because, and I will let you know, this is why it's so clever. You had no way of knowing this. His breath weapon is called Repulsion Breath. The dragon exhales repulsion sonic energy in a 30-foot cone, and each creature in the area must succeed on a strength saving throw of DC 15. On a fail, the creature is pushed 40 feet away from the dragon. Again, Cloud Jumper is not a fire-breathing, acid-breathing... It's a bat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very bat owl-like creature. You had no way of knowing this besides just
Like that sonar screech.
intuition.
Bat.
And that's where I'm going to say that's super cool.
That is super cool.
This creature has a +5 on its save for strength. If it can hit... Oh no, +4. Minrith, it is your turn. Before I tell you the result, do you want to augury point it as a reaction for a sorcery point?
I gotta be fair. I already used mine for making one of the sharks fail the...
It's just been your turn, though.
Oh!
It resets, right? It's the idea. So it's you have until your next turn before it resets again. Actually, no. Augury points you get to know. I will. It was a 15 on the die for a synthetic 19.
Okay, then I will use it.
You're right. I was thinking like, oh, do you want? I'm like, no, right.
Yeah,
this isn't
I do
like
get to know. I forgot.
this isn't like portents or other things where we have to wait to results. Augury points stay at like you just. It's a reaction cost.
Yep.
Okay. Nope. It rolled. It's a nat 1.
No! Excellent use of the auger point.
Cloud Jumper
Holy crap.
is crawling around. You see, this. Tim is just like, right, okay, don't cut them cords. As you know, Cloud Jumper trying to be careful.
Uh-huh.
All of you move out of the way. The open doorway. The
That's
other
amazing.
sharks move, and I'm gonna say the other ones that are outside are gonna roll at disadvantage because they're in the cone.
Yeah.
1, 4, 4, 3, 16, 17, and let's roll the 16, 17. It's 8 and 1. All of them fail as Cloud Jumper. Boom, boom, boom.
Boy.
Repulsion sonic blast. Boom! Hits the shark
Cool.
out of the door. This
Oh
shark,
my
it's that like
God.
very surprised fish face where it's like, what do you mean I have jumped out of water? Boom, boom, boom. All of them are knocked prone, gang.
Oh, that's awesome.
That
I'm
is
gonna
so
say,
great.
with as cool as that was, we're not gonna have to worry about the rest of these rounds. Because with them being afraid, knocked out, slowed, blood in the water, Minrith and Valka made a terrifying combo.
That's so great.
I
I like going with you. That was a fun turn.
was gonna say,
That really
well, because I
was.
think the rest of the turns are just like holding actions to make sure they won't hit. But I'll tell you,
Yeah.
these sharks aren't gonna come back.
Because it'll take half their movement to even get up, and they're slowed.
So half their movement getting up is a quarter of their speed altogether.
Yeah.
Meaning they would only have like 10 feet. Right?
That's
Um,
awesome.
That's awesome. We will exit initiative as you guys blast away the land sharks. That was the worst of the random encounters that I rolled.
Of course it was.
And you guys can head off on your way towards Underlondon. As breathing returns to normal, I actually do want to zone in on Dax and Gingy. Because it was that odd, like, I mean, initiative is what it is sometimes, where it's like, oh yeah, going so late, sometimes you don't go, especially in those kind of just quick stuff. But what I actually want to ask is for Dax, how do you think Dax is doing after the battle? After that, like, you didn't had to like hit, but there was a lot going on. What do you think Dax's state of mind is right now?
I'm still a little, still a little shaken, but it's not so much like the creatures. Like having land sharks almost gave him something else to think about.
Yeah.
And
no.
so, in that weird, like, oh no, something crazy is happening. At least it's something that he can do.
Yeah.
And so, I think that was actually more grounding for him than anything.
You know what? Fair.
The weirdest grounding exercise, getting attacked by these abominations.
Land sharks, yeah.
I see it though.
So Dax, I think you're feeling a little bit more grounded, but Gingy, I will give you, because I actually realized, Gingy, you have some pretty great passives as well. I, for some reason, misread that. Gingy, you would be able to look over, and kind of like with Minarith, you see a Dax who is trying to steal himself. A lot better now, for sure. But what do you think Gingy's gonna do as you see Dax is just looking really stressed? Maybe less. Like, again, the fog of war is something of like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm back in a better groove. But what do you think Gingy's doing right now?
At this point, I probably know like some of his favorite foods, and so I just want to like conjure up a cookie or a cupcake or like whatever would just like to
Whatever his favorite food is.
and
Yeah.
And take it to him and ask if he's doing all right and if I can help at all.
I love it. Gingy, as you are... Yeah, I think you head over... Dax, what are you doing in this moment?
What's your favorite treat?
Yeah, but...
So Dax's favorite food is curds and whey.
Of course.
Of course.
Also, ew, why?
Here's what's crazy. Curds and whey are cheese products. And so what I think is hilarious about
It's
this...
like the liquids and the solids, right?
It is. Imagine, like, if you've ever
It's
had
like
cheese...
cottage cheese, but
Yeah.
it's
Not
more liquid than.
Way more liquid.
Yeah,
Um,
cottage cheese is good. Curds and whey, that sounds
Depends on who
nasty.
you are.
So,
That's a
Gingy,
very,
what
like,
would
specific-
Gingy's
that
take
is
on
certain
curd...
people, like,
what
That
would,
is very true.
what would Gingy's take on curds and whey be?
deep fried cheese curds.
Ooh, that's yummy.
Mm-hmm.
Deep fried cheese curds
Yeah.
or
Actually, Dax, have you ever tried deep fried cheese curds? Or do you think Dax would have ever thought?
I don't think Dax ever would have.
She's opened his mind.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's run. What is Dax thinking as he eats fried cheese curd?
Let's see. You did something different to it. This is amazing.
And has a lot of nutritional value, apparently. It's very much so like... It's the, like, yeah, the milk fat of the, like, whey is just what, like, the curd is encased in, so it's still liquidy. It's like deep fried curds and whey, where it's like, okay, there's curd in there, but now it's melty, and so it mixes in with the whey. So it just makes this weird, like, it's fried liquid. And
Okay.
it's gotta be, right? Like, let's be
Oh,
honest, like, what's
that's so
happening with curds and whey? So Dax, you try a delicious meal, and I think it's very much your mind is for sure off of like your situation and the water. Like, even as you go around through, you can't hear a lot, but all of you have a sense of better peace and order as you finish making it through this terrifying area. As you come out, after a while, Tim would give that passed around note, like, we're approaching Underlondon. All of you would see, or rather not see, again, the Water Walker does not have windows. It is solid metal plating to, like, you gotta reinforce. Again, this world has yet to really understand the concept of, like, plexiglass or strong stuff. You exit the water. You hear a lot of the water stop. As the Water Walker powers down, you see Tim goes, right, welcome to Underlondon. As the Water Walker pops open and you are greeted with a wave of sound, not too dissimilar from the waterfall, but of people. You hear voices talking. Dax, you're really home right now. You're noting, like, Underway is, like, such a broad city with so many hidey holes for people. It's very much that, like, sewers vibe. Underlondon is a bustling metropolis of rats and toads and frogs, drow, duergar, deep gnome, other creatures that one might, we would know them as like, the problem is I'm forgetting the name and only thinking of reskinned Marlin and Nemo from our Disney campaign. They're
Clownfish?
no, they're specific fish people in D&D.
Tritons, or there's a Wagon or something like that.
No Swaggin, thankfully, because those are quite ferocious.
Yes, they are. But I
That's
like
what
to
I
call them
thought
saggy
it was
baggies.
They're, oh my gosh, I have just failed as a DM. The fish folk that worship false gods that they kind of just make up, and they're really hilarious. I can see their art. The problem is I see them.
Are they called Kuotao?
Kuotao! Thank you! I knew it! Oh my gosh. Kuotao! Yeah, there's some Kuotao here. They're not as, like, populous, but they pop in and out of the disgusting water and head out.
It probably reeks, actually, because doesn't the upper crust, oh, that's hilarious. Sorry, I was saying the crust of the earth, but anyway, don't they use the Underdark as sewage?
They do.
So it's
And for
nasty.
anyone that knows, medieval London
Oh, no, please.
was terrifyingly disgusting.
Oh, please no details, because I know the details of
You all brace and are greeted with a decent scent. As
That's suspicious.
all of you can look up, some of the waterways have been siphoned off and closed. That Underlondon is not just a refuse.
Oh, good.
The water is disgusting. It is still sewage water. You can't stop liquid. But most of the bile and waste of London that builds up from a city that, let's be honest, the British never knew how to take care of themselves, and it's a marvel that they ever conquered half the world. But you see,
Again,
like,
this time period, most British Navy men could not swim.
Mhm.
Can we talk about that?
it's
Yeah.
terrifying.
We put these soldiers on boats, but didn't teach them how to swim.
No,
And
Underlondon.
somehow they conquered half the world.
Underlondon's actually much cleaner than Overlondon or London Prime. This London Prime. Walking off, you see again. Stoic has settled up with Tim. You know, like paying the rest. He's right for your troubles. And you see Stoic tips him a little bit. You see Tim just like, oh, thank you very much. And remember, you don't know me. And nods to you all, and because you see he's immediately going and finding like a dockmaster with some sort of paperwork to start offloading the rest of his wares, and you guys enter into Underlondon. Underlondon is a cool city, to be honest. It has high-rise buildings, low-lying suburbs. It's very much like Venetian in the sense of just canals everywhere over the sewers.
That is cool.
So you see like what we would call gondola or just simple canoe to ferry people around. Other rafts. There's a full like Brooklyn Bridge looking bridge that lowers up and down. And again, you're noticing this city has been built out of refuse. Most of the ships, shops, buildings, boats, even the clothes look to be discarded. Things people, consumers would have quickly thrown away, or even worse for wear. And so you're noticing a lot of the rat folk have much higher quality objects. Maybe like, this was something a rich person wore twice to a gala and then threw away. Versus, you couldn't help but notice, like with Dax, a lot of the drow wear a mix mash of things that they have found or bought or scavenged for that's already traded many hands. As you guys step off the water walk, taking in the city, what's the game plan? What do you say to each other?
Right, Cube. We gotta find a private place and deal with that before we go sticking our noses in whatever's related to it. It might give us some
That
good
is a
preparation.
good idea. That's one of the things that was in my mind. I'm like, I cannot get wet. I cannot get wet in this fight. This is coming bad.
Did we have to make rules for that?
Would have had to made rolls if Minarith ever made it out of the water.
Oh, that's.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
I
you were
was
inside.
very aware. I could not.
I
get the
was
boat.
waiting for, okay, I'm like, if one shark can attack Minarith once, there could have been water. Never happened.
Thank Kevin.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You might want someplace a little more closed off, out of the way. But what I would ask is, do you guys have a place that's out of the way and closed off?
I think we just gotta find like an inn or something.
But also, if we can't like soundproof the room, an inn might not be the best idea.
That is
Because inns are
fair.
public.
Inns can be public. I will say, for Dax, you can either make me a history check. Again, Dax, home turf. You know, Underlondon and Underway are your places of birth, right? Like, you know these cities. But it's that level of, like, yeah, if we're interrogating someone, what would be the best place to go?
Yeah, I mean, there are maybe a lot of the backstreet and kind of hidden places where an interrogation wouldn't be out of place.
It's very true. Yeah. No, like, and I will say, you guys can, yes, and Underlondon has a lot to it, so Dax is completely right.
Could
Of
we be
like,
under a bridge?
yeah, go find, again, there's a lot of bridges. This
That's
is a
just,
canal
like,
area. You can
like-
find a, no check needed, big old 20-foot wide bridge, dripping water. I think as you walk under, you see this, like, disgusting looking troll. It's like, I get your own bridge. Oh, this is taken.
I,
Just go to a different
can
bridge.
we look for a bridge that's not got a troll under it, or is there a troll
I
under
could
every
force
bridge
this
in the
dude
city?
out.
But that feels
But we
mean.
don't want to.
You don't want to?
We
Then
just.
again, hey, he might be an evil troll who's like eating people crossing the bridge.
Can we
right?
do a perception check? Does
You
he have
could
a black
ask him.
sun
Do you
symbol?
want to ask him?
Does he have a black sun symbol, for example?
It doesn't have black side. This looks like a disgusting troll wearing newspapers for pants, and it's just saying, "There's a, if you want to make your own troll bridges, find another bridge."
How do we make a good troll bridge? What do you do for people who cross the bridge?
Find it. Ask them riddles.
And what
And-
happens if they answer it all?
You see a large, like, boil kind of breaks on this troll's side of his head as you go, I ask them riddles, and if they don't answer right, you eat some.
I think
We can
kill
take the
him.
bridge.
You can take the bridge. It's not even combat. You just, it's that coming,
This is a weird-
wah! This, like, arcing troll out,
It's a
like,
weird little morality check of like, how bad do we have to feel about this?
I'll even say, Valky, you not just Stoic. Stoic just, like, punts
Punts
this
him.
troll as hard as he can. Because, again, this isn't like the D&D trolls, these large creatures. This
No,
is a
it's
creepy
like
little
Chew
troll.
Billy Goat Scruff. Yeah.
And the troll, 30 feet away, immediately hits the ground, just front another bridge as he scuttles off.
You love to see it.
Cool. You guys have a bridge, and I will let you know, unless you do wild stuff, you might not have to make stealth checks. But do you want to bring out the cube you were given?
Yes.
Yes.
Finally.
3
After how many
sessions
sessions?
later. Minarith, you bring out this cube. It is
Can
It is a
someone be
well-aged cube.
ready to tie him up, and I'll be ready to do detect thoughts on him?
Yeah, I think Dax probably, especially with, like, rope and needles, Dax, you might have the best chance of, like, just holding a jacket. Because Stoic will stand back of, like, if he books it, Stoic will chase him down and just tackle him. Yeah, you guys can be right. And I was,
Dax is ready. I can spin this guy a web and just he's down.
you prepare this intricate web, Minarith. You find a discarded bit of, like, plasticky cup, dip it into the canal. Ugh, water doesn't look great. You only need a drop, thankfully. And as you place the cube in the middle of Dax's, you could pour it all over. You
Sorry, that's me being mean.
But no,
that's
we
too
are
nice.
trying to intimidate
Trying to rough him up.
We're
That's
trying
what I
to-
thought.
yeah, so
You pour the
A
cup of
peaceful,
water
fruity
on
water.
the cube. As the cube begins to shudder and shake and glow, it unfolds like out of a cocoon. Arms, legs, head expanding puppet-like out of a pop-up book until in a split second, a full-grown looking man in black assassin's garb is sitting covered in sewer water. And immediately, whoosh, Dax, you like pull one of the threads and the entire trap closes tight and he's restrained.
Okay.
This dude immediately, ah!
Right, well, that's the reaction we love to hear.
Please don't put me in the cube. I'll do whatever you want. Please don't put me back in the cube.
Excellent. We just want to have a
I
conversation.
was both alive and dead. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't scream. I think I understand both life and death.
Some people agree.
He soils himself
is
completely.
a religious experience.
It's religious. That wasn't religion. That was hell.
That's part of religion.
Oh gosh, I never thought of it like that.
You're
As
all thinking it.
you see, it's this half-orc looking assassin, just horrified as.
I want to know.
Bit
if
of
you
lore
ever
that
did
the
you
other
ever-
party. Fun fact: the other party has never once uncubed any of the creatures they've gotten, or at least they've
So
never
now
been.
we know.
They've never been around
The
when
after effects.
creatures got uncubed. You know the after effect of these people see and hear everything in this state of existential death, but they're not dying, but they're not alive. So you see this dude is just shaking.
There's
He's like,
Schrodinger's people?
they're both alive and dead until you put water on the cube. And this
That
one's
is
alive.
awful. Yeah,
It's
He's
terrifying.
already been tortured for a long time.
I will say
He's been
a
trying
lot of
for
the
us.
checks have. I couldn't tell you. I think this is alleged. The longer you keep them a cube, the lower the DCs drop.
So it was actually good that we sat on him for so
You
long. I love
accidentally
that.
got yourself some pretty. And I would say, so Gingy, Dax, Minirth, and Valka, the four of you plus Stoics standing around. This dude is shaking. You can start interrogating him. Does anyone want to start, or what's going to be the order of operation?
Is his black sun symbol tattoo visible?
It's fainter. You realize because again, he's wearing all black. He was on a night mission. The black sun is on an armband, kind of like last time, but it's hard.
The
Where it's
Nazi armband?
it is. It's a very unfortunate bit of imagery, but yeah, it's a
Okay.
armband, and so it's hard to see the black sun because obviously you don't want it to stand out on a night mission, but it is there.
All right. I'm just going to lightly tap it and just say, we're very interested in. Speaking of religion,
Yes.
we're very interested in this,
Okay.
and I'd like to cast detect thoughts right then.
Smart. You cast detect thoughts. After a good 2 seconds of screaming, as even his own mind was starting to go.
Wisdom save of 17.
Oh, are you gonna push deep? Or
Yes.
Okay.
sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to
you're good.
say
No, it's
it
I was like, yeah, we can start with surface level. You want to go in?
Yes, and I will use a sorcery point to make him
No
do it.
need, as he got a natural 3. He's in such a bad state of mind. You see, young man grew up not far from here in Far Away. Has an uncle who's an orc, full orc, right? Who approached him over a couple weeks, and this was months ago,
Okay.
about Black Sun. Talking about, you see, right, kid, you're gonna get in on the ground level. Big things are coming. Me and my buddies, we want to get you in. And this kid, I'm just so excited. I'm so grateful to be involved. I really need to express my rage in a good way. You see,
This is so sad.
his uncle's like, you're gonna kill some fucking people. And this montage of him, you will get a lot here. If you are kind of combing through his memory, you see the initiation, hooded figures, him, dozen people around. By the end of initiation, there was only 4 left. He had
Holy
to kill
crap.
some of them himself. You see, him standing with a body of a companion next to him, and you hear, "Welcome to the Black Sun," and you see him
What was his
standing.
emotional state when he killed
Joy.
that many? Okay.
He was so excited. To
So he's messed
finally-
up. Cool.
He's messed up.
Just making sure.
He's
I understood.
morality
We
scale.
could go a little bit less bad.
Yeah, right.
yeah. Because I'm like, oh no, this poor child.
Oh, he got coerced. Oh, you should not have been happy. But yet, you see, over these months, he got in high enough. Again, great prowess in just assassination. He was always gifted in stealth and operations. Working closely. His uncle working through was like, damn it, kid, you're gonna go far. I guess I should give you his name is Wilson. So you see Wilson just sitting there, just like, I'm just really excited. I'm really happy to just keep going. And you see him going on missions, full-on political assassination missions. Nothing major, but you see there are some minor lords in Far Away. You see a couple people here and there around, like the Alps, like those like mountainous lords that technically hold credence to Charming but are far enough away. Eventually, you see his uncle comes up. It's like, Wilson, all right, buddy, I need to. You're gonna lead a mission. We're sending you overseas. I'm ready to kill. My life for Black Sun. My life for the leader. You see his uncle. There's this group. We can't give you much on the details, but they call themselves champions. They are priority number one, and you're gonna head our division over in the New World. And you see this dossier, and while you see the dossier, it's very full. Minrith, you're seeing
a lot of information on this.
Megamind, Puss in Boots, Jim Lake Jr. These names you've heard, but you see information: height, build, known abilities, known allies, known enemies, known locations. You see yourselves. You, unfortunately, he never looked at your dossiers because this was not his targets, but you see rows of documents of known champions, from good people to people you would assume are not as great, maybe not involved in the parties, but are still technically chosen. And they're thick files.
That's a problem.
And you see his uncle. You're gonna take down these 5. They've set themselves up a base city. It's full of a bunch of fucking chickens. And you see Wilson kind of like stops. Yeah, I guess they are cowards. No, they're literal chickens. It's a city of chickens. It's an easy op. Honestly, kid, once you kill these, I think you're gonna meet the leader. And Wilson's emotional state in that mind, pure titillating excitement. As meeting a leader is something very few get to do normally. Valka, you kind of know this. Again, when you cast that, like, the Blood Hunter, you got to see the like steps or like the the degrees of bacon of this like spell scroll, that big old spell scroll, and it's that full. What?
I didn't think about it until you said that, but I thought of another way that could theoretically. It's a long shot, but it could use the dark augmentation again. This uncle was like really a good mentor to this kid, right?
Oh, he's the one that got him in. Yeah.
Did his uncle ever like give him anything like, hey, here's like
You might ask that.
the
We'll
knife
go.
for the armor, or
Yeah.
the like? Is there anything that this guy has on him that his uncle has touched?
We will
That is
get to
beautiful.
that
I think
in
we'll
a
get to
sec.
that. That is
Oh,
something.
you're
Is
so
when you
cool.
you can ask Minarth, like, see if he's got family items, because Minarth. And again, you're describing this. I'll say using message to just like
Yeah.
keep the party in the loop. You see Wilson's like, I will make you proud. I will kill these false heroes, and I will be back. And you see Wilson going, posing as a member. They call themselves a union, joining this guild, waiting a couple weeks. And you
Dang.
see the excitement. These chosen come back, and they hold a talent show night, and him sitting in the back, and you hear these thoughts of like, these morons, I'll slit their throats in their sleep. And you see in the middle of the night, they go in, but even though they had the jump, all it took was one of them not being poisoned, and you see Wilson's fear as the plan unraveled. It was a clean op, and yet the poison didn't work on one of them. This strange, ethereal guy, white skin, white hair,
The one that
as he, and you see this guy, of course he had a dragon too, just like Valka, and he and his dragon were able to help him. He does now.
Okay.
They help out another person, and it was a domino. It was like we know, a TPK, until one after another, they all start getting up and fighting back. And the second this orcish paladin stood up, these assassins started bursting to fire, as if their skin was igniting, being in this holy prison. You see Wilson, and you actually see burn marks all over his skin. He was one of these that like almost burned alive like his companions. And the last
Go
thought,
from Jim's terrifying aura.
it's an aura. It's one of those new fire giant aura things. Basically, right before it went dark, he sees this figure of giant blue head lounging on the bed again, and you see Wilson's fear of like, we almost murdered them all, and yet they all look so calm. Hold up a strange item, what we know as a gun, and then it went dark.
Wait, who's got a gun? Oh, is it
Megamind. The dehydration gun.
It was the I was picturing like a Glock, and my brain like reset.
Megamind pulls out a Desert Eagle, ices him.
Okay. Well,
So
yeah.
Minrith, you do that and help give all of this information to the party.
Oh my gosh. Does anyone have any idea, have any ideas for what kind of questions we want to ask him next before we get to Valka's thing about,
Yeah, it's like, make a list, right? Okay, Valka wants to see if there's a personal item he's got.
I think other things I would put on a list is like, it seems really well structured in different parts of the world where they're like, hey, go lead this like division in the New World and stuff. So it's like, I wonder how much he knows about like hierarchy and the connection and like what are the hubs in different places, like who's in charge of stuff, like just see what info he can give us about the network.
So hierarchy.
And what was the uncle's name?
You know the uncle's name was Claudrin.
All right, Claudrin.
Claudrin.
Okay, so Wilson never told me his name, right? I would like to say, oh, poor sweet Wilson. I think
You know my name?
you've been taking advantage of. You're just at the bottom of the totem pole.
I'm not the bottom.
Claudrin didn't even prepare you for any of this, did
No,
he?
Uncle Claude, he was gonna give me so much. I was gonna be the leader. I was
It's
gonna.
such a shame that he's such a liar.
He's so lying. He was so
He is. But it's okay, because if you could tell us just a little bit of who was above Claudrin and things like that,
Above Claudrin.
we'd love to know a
And
little bit
are
of the
you
structure.
wanting him to reveal it, or are you trying to probe the memory to then dive back into his mind?
If he will say it, great. I would love to dive in
cool.
as well.
I think I'll make a save for him.
Is that bad?
It's very bad. He's not doing great. Wilson. Hey, okay. It's fine. Just don't put me in a cube. I don't want a cube. I didn't know you could. We didn't know that wasn't part of the dossier. We didn't know about the cube. And I think that's that. Okay, so it's not perfect.
Yeah.
There's always going to be again. There's always things you never know about an enemy. But you see, Claudrin, he's one of the heads. He's one of the heads out in far away. And it's what do you mean? Like who's above him?
Yes. Who does he answer to?
Well, the leader. And you see, Claudrin might be one of what we could call like a general, but like a high priest of Black Sun. Like he is a high member. This orc is a founding member. Or again, Black Sun's been around for a while. He's probably one of those big legacy members. And again, bringing his nephew in, like, what, 6 months ago, it was that like, oh, your family gotta keep you in. So you see, Wilson goes, my uncle, he answers to the leader, and well, I was never okay. I was a part of the assassin division. We're not like the normal group. We're really good at just killing people.
And you go all over the world for that.
I should have gone to Lucius, I could have been a doctor, man. Okay. Oh man.
But you didn't. You decided to listen. So now you need to tell me, how do you get the next job?
What, how do I get it? Well, it was always like case by case. I had to meet with them. I couldn't
Meet with who?
my uncle really he was over us. He was one of the he
And
helped
if
run
you're
this.
on the other side of the world, how do you know who to go to?
Oh, you see, he looks really shifty now, and detect thoughts. Because again, you always have a surface like, fuck, is it still in my pocket? Well, we would just get orders sometimes, not like usually.
I'm going to go ahead and reach into.
He screams in terror. This witch is reading his mind, and he doesn't really get how. He's not the smartest dude. I mean, he's got an 11 intelligence, but again, when you're confronted with high magic, it's scary.
Yeah.
You reach in. You find a sending stone.
Okay, that is good to know. That would explain how they're so well informed.
You plot a sending stone. You see Wilson just like, okay, it was just that, but like, And you actually realize, because you found it, it is very cracked. It's odd to see standing stones with like fractures and lines. You think this thing has like a point of damage left?
Oh,
well, like
so it's barely intact.
it's meant to be like if caught, you can lean on it wrong and destroy. The idea of like a less dramatic cyanide pill, but the idea of, well, we're not going to let people get this. Like, this is powerful stuff, so just crunch and you're done, right? Like, anyone's unarmed strike can deal at least
clever.
one, right?
And if you got it before that happened.
You got it before that happened.
Nice.
Because I did make a check. He's not in a good frame of mind right now. And I think, all right, your passive thoughts, he's just like, don't check the other pockets, don't check the other pockets, don't check the other pockets.
Start checking all
Start
the
checking
other
the other pockets.
pockets.
Go ahead and mark down spell scroll, Misty Step.
Okay.
As a couple of them have these. You see you pull out a vial of...
Okay.
Oh, excuse me. I have to roll for this. I just remembered he's got more than just one vial. You see there are 3 vials of poison on him.
Oh.
Because these were not the ones... The party did kind of, like, pat them down, or, like, enough. But, again, the cube guy was just like, well, let's send him off. He has 3 vials of poison. They all look to be the same murky, this, like, inky purplish lime color. Purplish lime.
Okay.
The idea of it's that, like, it's not black. It's got that weird oil slick sheen to it, but that purple lime, like very ocean look, and it's intense.
I would like to just inspect it and then bring it close to his mouth.
Fuck! No!
What is he thinking about?
I will give you the mechanics.
Okay.
This is a
That's
poison.
so clever, but so dark.
This is called Pleasant Dream.
Ooh.
Pleasant Dream is a powerful poison that, when ingested, applied, or put into a person's system, whether ingested, applied on skin, like any real way, like even touching this stuff, it is corrosive outside of the glass. A target that is asleep has disadvantage on the Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the target will take 2 points of exhaustion, gain the poisoned condition, and deal 6d10 poison damage.
Okay. 6d10
6d10
poison damage.
It's an intense poison, and you realize in his surface thoughts, these are the poisons, and he was point. This was his proving mission. He kept all these. That's why he had these extra secreted away. This is what they used on the Union members when they were asleep. It's a very specific, like, hey, it puts them to sleep. If we're lucky, it kills them. And even if they wake up, they're not going to be in fighting shape. But again, they were so unfortunate where somehow one of them succeeded and was able to then start getting others up, casting greater restorations. Like, it's that immediate, like, how did we somehow not get this like strange pale kid and do all this? This poison's meant to be like an end all when someone's asleep, of like, good luck. Like, you're gonna kind of not ever recover from this, because even if you wake up, we're just gonna stab you. And you do see his thoughts, because again, their knives were coated in a variety of other poisons. They had other knives. Like,
Oh my gosh.
they're well-trained assassins with powerful items. So the scroll, Misty Step, and 3 items you get are the only things in there. Well, and the sending stone, of course. So you pull all these out, and he's just like, be very careful. Like, I'm not... that stuff's no joke.
I can tell.
Uncle Claude said you gotta be really careful with that shit. That's not normal.
Where did he get this?
And you see Wilson doesn't know. Kind of one of those, like,
Yeah.
you didn't
He's
ask
low
the
on
question.
the totem pole.
Yeah, I mean, he was gonna start ranking up, but like, it was that, like, yeah, I never really thought to ask. It's just that, like, oh, cool stuff.
Okay.
Well, it's that, like, did you ask Queen Rayan where your healing potions came from?
No,
You normally don't think about the
Yeah,
gifts.
that
It's that,
totally
like,
makes
yeah.
sense.
So he said, I don't know.
Okay.
So Dax has been in the Underdark all of his life, and poisons are kind of the drow
Yeah.
bread and butter. Would Dax have any inclination or ideas?
Dax, go ahead and give me a medicine check
That is
with
awesome.
advantage.
That is so awesome.
There's some really cool stuff you might glean from this. And again, it's that video game, like, you have access to this because of your race. Like, it is a drow thing of, like, hey, this has some stuff. Alright, what was the higher of the two?
So that's an 18 total. So the highest of the die roll was 16, plus 2 for my medicine is 18.
Dax, you're looking at this poison, immediately you're clocking, it's like, that's new. That's been alchemically made. Which also might say, again, Wilson might also not know it in that sense of like, yeah, it's a new product, one could call it. And Dax, you look at this, and I'll say on an 18, you beat the DC 15. This is a very specific combination of 3 poisons that have been melded kind of into one. Again, it's one concept. It's a very horrifying effect on one failure.
Yeah.
Because it has been a very specially treated poison. And Dax, what you know, the sleeping potion comes from a very powerful plant found in some places of the Underdark. You get that of like, gotcha. That one, there might be general poisons like that. The second effect, that constitution, well, we'll get to that, because that's something dangerous. And then that final, like, that poison condition and just the damage, well, that's a powerful toxin. There's certain creatures that excrete that level, and usually they have 8 legs. And Dax, this is compounded with exhaustion is a very specific status, right? You know, poisons that exhaust people, zap their strength. That's necrotic. And Dax, in a puzzle manner, very Blue's Clues, Underdark, spider-based toxin, and powerful necrotic draining damage.
Lolth is backing them. Lolth is the leader of the Black Sun.
I don't think you think she's the leader.
Oh, thank heaven.
Because Valka
Oh, no, I mean, someone
got
powerful
the
might be the leader.
full history. The leader looks like a skeletal, elven, what we know as Yankee-looking creature.
Oh.
But Dax, you're looking at this poison. It's like these ingredients could have only come from one powerful would-be goddess. And she's not... There's no way someone stole these items.
Well, crap.
I'm going to message some of this information to the party as well, and just kind of like, hey, yeah, Loth is probably involved with everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like to ask him. Well, it seems that your uncle gave you a lot of fun toys. Which one? Do you have anything to remind you of just him?
I want you to make it a roll. You see, because as he tries to think,
Oh, don't make me.
his brain is doing that naturally. Uncle Claude, what did he give me? Well, I mean, all my supplies came from, people. All my, and unfortunately, his knife was not taken by the Union. They only took the poisons. They only took the... I will say, you see from the visions and from everything, he had a bandolier of, like, 8 different poisons. Like, each of them did. Like, a big, like, full Molotov of just a lot of stuff.
That's super cool.
They didn't take his weapon. I apologize. You see, a curved
Okay, it's
knife.
time for you to shine.
Valka, you reach down. You will know, again, it's basically, you're identifying through memory.
Mm-hmm.
This is a +2 dagger.
Dang.
That specifically has a special property attached that when you make a hit on this dagger, you can make a successful sleight of hand check on a DC 15. You're allowed to attack again with the dagger.
That's disgusting.
It's known as the Whip Smart Dagger, where it's the full, like, when you slice and you somehow twist it around, slice again. So it requires great sleight of hand to use.
That's amazing.
But it allows you to attack twice with it.
I'd love to give this to Shen.
Great sleight of hand.
Real Shen would
Great
be-
sleight of hand. Yeah, real Shen might go nuts with this kind of dagger. And I will say, because it's drow, it's like an orcish drow in origin, right? You're like, probably orcish metal, but drow make. This was, Uncle Claudrin went, alright, I know you're gonna go out there and split some skulls, but remember, the best kill is the one they don't walk away from. And you see he gives this knife, one of his personal, like, gained throughout the years. You see Wilson, enemy is like, yeah, Uncle Claudrin's knife, which is in my boot. And it's like, and I will, for the pure comedy, don't trick the boot, don't trick the boot, don't trick. And he's thinking this. He's not saying it out loud.
I just would like to slowly.
Trick the boot! And he says that out loud. No! And starts screaming again.
But it's poor, so I don't.
I
feel
will
bad
say,
for him, but it's so
while
fun.
this is happening, people are walking by every so often, and like this one, a rat walking by is like, hell yeah, kill him! And just keeps walking. This isn't Great City. This is not a great city. Again, Dax led you the right way of like, we can do this technically in public.
That's amazing, Dax.
You guys grab the whipwright dagger.
So, here's my hope for the dagger.
Okay.
I am hoping that this is something that before giving it to his nephew Clauder, like, Warren carried this dagger for a long time and may have, like, had it while he was in meetings with this mysterious leader, so I can spy on some of that through grim psychometry.
So if Wilson had the dagger given to him by his uncle, and Wilson did not own it long enough, that it did... Yeah.
And maybe it'll tap into some Clauder
Uncle-
memories of, like, meeting the leader
Uncle
and what he
Claudrin,
might have about the leader.
did Uncle Claudrin have a dagger with the meetings? I'm going to set the DC at 20.
Okay.
You have advantage on history.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other party buffs we want to give in this moment?
One thing Dax is going to want to try to do is backtrack where that sending stone came from. He has experience making sending stones, and so I was wondering if he could get some kind of where does the sending connect?
I love that.
And I can give you a guidance.
So, Minareth can give guidance for Valka. Bart can give you advantage, Dax, because it's that very, like, this is a pure artificial, like, let's track this kind of make and model. Cool. So, yeah, Valka and Dax, go ahead and give me your history checks with advantage. Valka, you've got the D4 right now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens.
That's a nat 20. Should I also roll the d4 to see how high I can...
No need. In fact,
Okay.
Dax, take the D4.
Good
Would
job.
mine have been history as well, or would it have been more like Arcana?
Oh,
or...
you're right. Yeah, it's Arcana. Yeah, because you're not trying to be like, what is the make him up? You're trying to be like, okay, magic. Let's get down to brass tacks, the Arcana tech. So an advantage Arcana, and you have a bless.
Guidance.
Or guidance. Right, bless is for everything else. Jeez.
And guidance is cantrip.
Is 17.
My gosh, we're gonna start with Dax. Dax, looking at this, you're immediately clocking, okay, this was not personally made. Like, you would know, like, for example, an artificer infusion, like, things like that, like, oh, these have to be specific. These were made en masse. This is connected, right? This is something that needs to work in with a lot of other stuff. And so, Dax, you're immediately clocking, going, this was made. I will let you know this. This was made in Underlondon. You're noting a lot of the different, like, chips and where it's an item you think was manufactured here. Like, locally, one could say. And if it was manufactured here, and if there's a lot that has to be made, that's a major trail you could follow. Because you can't just hide that many sending stones being created like this. Or as specific to be like, and we need them to break in one hit. Like, that's too many things to go. There's some great stuff. So Dax, you get this, and you see Bart is like giving that help of like, go to magic? No, yes, it goes up. And you see Bart like taps it like, hello, is this thing on? No, it is not on. It is not work. This is good. And like kind of like helping. Bart's a really funny little creature. You gotta love him.
We do love him.
Valka, you got a nat 20.
Nat
I'm
20.
so happy about
Nat 20
that.
plus 6, if that matters.
Valka, you're about to just straight up warg right now.
Good.
As you fall, boom. This is such a strong connection because dark psychometry is such a specific the bad stuff about objects and items.
Yep.
Right, you're literally learning. Most of the times, it can appear as shadows or visage. That very reptilian prey of like you see the outline of like heat creatures and creatures that pulsate with their blood, and yet you. It's as if you're there. You see an orc. Facial features described close enough to Wilson. Claudrin sits, and the whipwright dagger is in his hand, and he's doing that butterfly knife, just like flipping around, twirling it, a bit of a hook on one of the finger to spin. And you see he's at a table. At this table, there's Claudrin. You also see 4 other figures, and we'll go in order of what you could assume is least to most important. To the right, you see a demon. This demon looks rather seductive is the right word because it's a creature that one could tell like this thing is meant to seduce and beguile, right? It is not wearing armor. You see this demon, its face rather androgynous, you would note, but with a lot of the strange curves and noting of like, oh, because it's meant to seduce, and you hear is like, well, that's pretty nice and all, Lust, but what the hell is that supposed to do for us? And as it turns from Lust, you see going around Lust, leans forward. I'm simply saying that let me take a crack at a champion. And you hear a voice from across the table. No! And you turn and are horrified. A spider. But not a full spider, a drider. Top half of a woman, bottom half of a spider. Gargantuan sits in the shadows, only her top half kind of closer as Lolth, this supposed goddess. And you hear the chittering amongst webs. These champions have killed too many sins already. We must wait for the new marked sins to be released from hell before we're allowed to proceed. And as Lolth speaks, out of these 3 figures, there's 2 left. One of them speaks you see a elegant man, black hair slicked back, simple beard, kind of that goatee-ish beard, wearing fine clothing, fine suit, ruffled little ascot of red, his eyes glinting golden. Well, the point remains that as long as we are here, we must act quickly. I don't have unlimited money, and my previous champions will run out of town.
Oh, is that Lord Gregor or whomever that the other party made that deal
Lord
with?
Gregor Alvarado.
Yeah, the other
First
vampire
cousin
clan.
of Pedro de Alvarado.
Oh.
Lord Gregor, my coffers run soft these days, and unless I am to, and you see he looks so hungry, act against my foes, I cannot provide much. And you finally hear, it is nothing. And you see the Gith. This strange alien man, white skin, purplish hair. Leans forward and you see his body is in this strange looking mech suit. We cannot afford much longer. We are but... And I'm about to... You do not, unfortunately, speak the language that this creature is about to use, and so I'm going to need a insight at disadvantage at what he's referring to.
Okay.
It's not like when you're speaking and referring to something in another language, how you might say its true name, and it's like, and what's the common equivalent of that? Like, in English, common...
languages on her, but
Not through dark psychometry. Again, Valka is on a nat 20 I'm giving a lot, but this is not like detect thoughts. This is Valka getting such a strong imprint of horribleness.
At disadvantage, I rolled a nat 13 and a nat 1.
You have a point of inspiration.
Can I use
if you
an
want
augur point to make it flat?
If we want to start with the augur point,
Yeah.
re-roll.
Do I just have to reroll?
Yeah, re-roll. Just to make it flat.
15. Wait, and I add 20
Insight.
for 17?
17. You are not sure what one of the words is, but you clock it's got to mean one, as if in counting in a 3, 2, 1. There is one, and you're like, one what? And it goes, left before the arrival. Everything must be prepared for my brother's coming. And you watch all the creatures here all kind of stir. Lolth chitters. You see the sin kind of like that sigh of just pleasure, which is disgusting. Even Lord Gregor, who doesn't look totally jazzed, kind of just gives that shrug of like, nice. And you see Claudrin grins, this big orc, like, and again, I should describe, Claudrin is wearing armor. It is very mix-matched. Each piece of his armor is stained in blood. Each piece has been taken from a fallen foe that he has slain in combat. And that's why you think his dark psychometry is so solid. It's like, this dude is caked in death and horror.
Nice.
You see the alien creature. We act now against the champions. Send forth the assassins first. And this is, you're about to get something insane on a nat 20. So I advise
I
you
thought
all.
all of that was already insane.
This is already insane. On a nat 20, you're about to get one of the most insane bits of lore. Send first assassins. Make sure we hit each group.
Yes, I was hoping. Just because I figured it was likely, so I was hoping we'd get confirmation.
Send assassins to the Union. Send a group of mercenaries up to the Peacekeepers. For the Dragon Warriors, and you see the creature stomps. Hold. I will deal with them.
This is
The
the
gift
gift talking?
The Gith.
Oh my.
For the Harbingers, how many demons have been released? And you see he looks at Lust. And Lust just, how many do you want? Send one of the Furies. Let her have fun. And you see Lust kind of licks their lips.
Where are they sending the Furies?
To the Harbingers.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And finally, and the Speed Runners. And you see he looks at Lolth. Some of your children. And you see Lolth kind of nods. And you see the Gith. Now, that will be the first wave. Afterwards, attacks coming every 2 days. I see all of them stop. You see Gregor leans forward. My esteemed lord, we do not have the funds. And the Gith takes a single hand, and it's not fast, places it on this stone table, and cracks it simply with pressure. And you see even Gregor just leans back. Doesn't say a word, just leans back. I said 2 days. We shall repeat until they are dead. Nothing is more of a threat to the glorious Black Sun than those heroes. But we are only, and you see, does one away. It is soon. Very soon. All hail the Black Sun! And you hear, all hail the Black Sun! All hail the Black Sun! As they all chant, each echoing dark ambition. Valka, you watch as each of these creatures chant and speak. And Gith looks at you. And you watch as not its true face, but its shadow looks, grins. As that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh my
Hate that.
gosh! Wait, can we know how long has it been since Adora last found out that
I
it's
should
doing
give you
something?
that.
Okay.
Will give me party. It's going to be a group.
Doesn't she have keen mind or something?
Even when she's not here. And between all it takes is one sending, knock it down. When Adora got the dream, we were about 2 weeks away.
So it was 3 weeks.
It was about what we would call weeks. Again, weeks in Dremora are about 10 days, 30 days, months.
So now we know we have about 1 week or 10
1
days.
week, 10 days. Until
frickin'
Horde Prime arrives. Thank you all.
Because that was the implication of his brother is Horde Prime, right?
Yeah.
Thank you all so very much for playing. Thank you all for listening. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.